Hey! It's the time of the week again where we meet to talk game design. Hey, how have you all been? DJ Kazan is all about waking up at 8 p.m. in the evening. Good morning to you. Spark, hello. I'm sad to see that you can't stay, but I'm very much appreciating you spending your Feierabend beer here with me. I should have one, really. Would be good. And maybe next week I'll consider it. Fippy, hello, welcome. Mirozi, hello, welcome to the chat and welcome to the stream. Ah man, LOL3K also, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. How dare I not? Yes. You're right. The thing is with alcohol on this stream, I would just worry it will drastically deteriorate my ability to actually deliver on any meaningful design analysis. Yes. Calicun is also here, right? Both of my moderators, Crazy Kitty and Calicun, are here. That is wonderful. Again, I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you've had a great week so far. Halfway through, you almost did it. It's almost the weekend again. Thanks so much, Spark. First time chat from view. Oh, I have the new feature in here. Hey, Yabuk. Welcome. I'm very happy that you're dropping by. I hope you'll enjoy your stay. Spongy Head, I'm so happy that you're back then, you know. 2 streams missed, no problem. You can check out the VODs. They've been good ones, I think. But I'm all the more happy that you are here today. This is great. That's very wonderful to hear. Thank you. Yeah, we have a bit of stuff to talk about, right? Before we dive into all of this design talk, figuring out what's going on with video games, right? As always, I have a bit of a segment of patch notes that I would like to run through. I'll just call you Blight, okay? Because I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce the first 4 letters. So Blight, welcome to the stream. I'm very happy that you're here. Tansho, hello. Awesome, how are you doing? Flower Blight. Oh, that makes sense. That's cool. Awesome. Guys, I have a few patch notes to run through, as I'll just call them. I'm not sure if this is a thing now. First off, Kelly Kuhn, one of my moderators, was so nice to actually she prepared some of my emojis. We have some subscriber emojis now. However, I figured since subscriptions are so costly and all of that, and I still want you guys to be able to use them, I added this random, unlock a random sub. I think it lasts for 24 hours when you use it as one of my skill point rewards. So relatively cheaply there, you will be able to unlock a random one, and then you can spam all the emotes just as it were, right? I'm gonna spam them now into the chat so you can see them. There's more coming, but of course I also don't have so many slots. And my friends who are helping me with this, they're also of course not doing this full time. So it's all a bit of a passion project for all of us. And yeah, more is coming. We want to make it as awesome as it can be, of course. And I hope you will enjoy them. Go nuts. And again, for anyone who doesn't want to subscribe, that's perfectly fine, right? Just unlock them using the 100 skill point, which is channel points, right? Unlock a random one, and then you'll be set to go for the stream. I can't use them? What? I don't know. I'm not sure what you're doing wrong. But I also don't write them. I have been just clicking them. I don't know. Does it not work when you... Oh no, I don't know. I suppose typing in doesn't work? I have no clue. All right, we'll have to figure this one out. See, there's always more work to be done. Then another one is I adjusted the reward costs for, you know, some of the things, including the random sub stuff. So you can now more easily get the skill point stuff rewards, which is something I'm tweaking. You know, it's like any game, balancing ongoing. I also nerfed Toastbot a bit. After the fiasco of everything that was last time, you know, I took out the some of the filters. However, there's still a paragraph filter, which is mostly because, you know, like super large messages push out everyone else's message and it's hard for me to keep up, right? But I drastically increased the amount of symbols or like letters you can type before it kicks you out. So I nerfed the bot. Sunquad, yeah, sorry. You know, like I'd like there to be more tier 1 subscription stuff. However, I don't have so many slots yet. I need to unlock more, right? So this is a part of an evolutionary process that we're going through. I also, so I took a closer look at the drawing tool that I have with the pencil that I use, right? Because of the one reward where you can change the color. I figured out a way how to use basically RGB color. So now any color can go. However, if you come in with like a very difficult name or of a color, I might not pick it. Like it might be really hard if you come in with cinnamon brown or something. I don't know what cinnamon brown is supposed to look like. I mean, I have a vague idea, right? But yeah. Discord server still not happening. I currently, I'm still thinking about it. I'm not quite sure about it yet. I opt in for poop brown. Yeah, please send me the RGB values for that so I know exactly which shade of poop brown you're thinking. Oh man, we're like 7 minutes in and we already reached the fecal humor. Very good, guys. Okay, what else? Oh, right, I have an update on the, like, tiny update on the secret level stuff. I've been gathering my forces, right? As you know, last stream, I think it was, we unlocked, or you guys unlocked, the secret level. Which means I am now in the process of preparing a very special Valheim stream, in which we will, me and some of my colleagues from the industry, will build a Valheim village. And we tried to go through the process as if it was a bit of a sort of like a game village, right? Like, you know, like it was for a project we'd be building. We will go through our design decisions and the thoughts that we have as we make this kind of stuff. And it will be all really, really cool. It will probably be a bit of a longer stream, which is why scheduling it is a bit more difficult. However, that's moving forward. I'm gathering my forces, my allies, if you will, for this epic stream. And right now, we are roughly aiming at the first week of July. So the weekend around the Friday the 2nd of July. However, it's not 100% sure yet, right? Again, it's like we'll probably be 3 people. That's what I'm thinking. And yeah, we'll be streaming for a bit of a longer time, possibly for like 2 days in a row. We'll see how the reception of you guys also is. And again, because it's a bit more complex, right? Planning it takes a bit more time, but we will get there. And once we have something about it, I will let you know. And I think we will have a fantastic time. I'm really looking forward to this. Yes. And before we get, because of course we need to talk a couple of minutes about E3, right? I have some sad news. It happened this morning that I actually managed to break my trusted Witcher cup. And it's very, very tragic because it's truly a unique item that I got from a very, very special promotional event for Witcher 3 that we did way back in the day. And this morning, I dropped it and it broke. Just that was really sad. It was really, really tragic. I'm actually so sad from it that I've been looking for people who do pottery maybe to recreate them, like to create a replica, so I can have a new one because it was such a cool cup. Having said that, I have like a plastic cup now because they don't break, which is, I don't know if you guys know the band Linkin Park. I'm a bit of a fan, right? It's one of the bands of my teenage years, and this is actually the 3rd of September is my birth date, and my friends kidnapped me to, I didn't know they would have a concert on that date, and they basically like they literally blindfolded me and took me out to this concert, and then I had like a fucking birthday concert of Linkin Park. So I'm using that one now. That can't break. Okay, you know, I mentioned this because it can't always be good news. We also need to embrace a bit of sadness in life so we can appreciate the happy moments in life much, much better. So let's do that, because I'm very happy to talk to you guys today. Not only about game design, right? We will do that, but of course this week, and also to a lesser extent last week, we had a lot of E3 stuff going on, right? By the way, Lexicon, thank you. Yeah, I hope it rests in peace well. Welcome to the stream. I'm hoping you'll have a good time. Kintsugi, also known as Kintsukuroi, Golden Repair. Huh, that's kind of nice. What is this Japanese thing where you put broken pottery back together with gold? Oh, I heard of that. Yeah. Ah, that would be actually really cool. It's kind of making something, taking something broken and making it better. It's beautiful. Wait, I don't know. It's always philosophical. Anyway, yeah. So, like to a lesser extent last week, but also mostly than this week, we've had a fuck ton of E3 streams, and I would be curious to hear, what was your most exciting E3 moment this year? Anything in particular you've been excited about? Rest in pieces. That it does. That it does. Cheers to that. Starfield. There we go. Yeah. I think that's one which many people are really, really looking forward to, right? And I'm actually really curious where Bethesda will take it. One thing that I really liked is that it seemed from the trailer to be more like almost like more realistic sort of space, right? It's not like Mass Effect where it's super sci-fi, but it's like the whole setup of the space shuttles and all that seemed more grounded, which is cool. We have too few games like that, I think. Uranium Bullet, thank you so much for subscribing with Prime. Fucking awesome, man. Unconfirmed Cyberpunk DLCs. I have no clue what you're talking about. Halo Infinite and Stalker. Wow, Halo Infinite looked much better, didn't it? They really, really went over it since the last time they showed it. Good for them. Good for them. Redfall, also pretty cool. Yeah, that was the vampire one, right? From Arcane. Get Star Wars vibes, yeah, I suppose. Chained Dog. Can we expect a patch this week for Cyberpunk since it's going back on the PS Store on Monday? I can't talk about that. I guess I could, but then probably some sniper would shoot me on live on stream. like you just see the red dot sort of appearing on my forehead, which is weird because there's literally a wall right in front of me, so I don't know how the laser would work, but you know, it's what probably might happen. I'm not gonna risk it. Elden Ring, of course. Holy shit. Yes, that's one. That's the one that I'm probably looking forward to most. I'm a big From Software games fan, and Elden Ring, of course, that did it for me. Of course, also Breath of the Wild. Really, really looking forward to that. However, I didn't feel like the new trailer was like, you know, like it's kind of like the tease they did last time, but a bit more. So I'm kind of ready to see more like how it might change its gameplay. I'm not sure what I expected, honestly. I'm just happy that I saw it. Atomic Heart, yeah, that's been in development for a while as well, right? We've been seeing that pop up every once in a while. Replaced, that was so confusing. Replaced was so confusing to me because, of course, the art style is amazing, but I initially thought it was like a rebrand or relaunch of The Last Night, which is a game that I've been really, really looking forward to, right? And I've been wondering where that dropped off, when that dropped off the face of the earth. And yeah, I thought it was that re-emerging. So that was really, really confusing. But I'm really looking forward to both of these, actually. It's a bit odd, like the art style is very similar, right? Pavel will snipe me. There's a chance. Although he is on vacation, I know he takes his vacations very seriously. So he might actually, you know, there's a chance I might get away with it. Not that I say I will try. Guardian of the Galaxy, that was a big surprise, wasn't it? Right? Like it's really cool, really cool. Looking forward to that. I'm a big fan of having good adaptations of comic and film media, right? Like, remember how just some years ago, adaptations from films or other media into games used to have, like, they didn't really have a good reputation, right? And then things like Batman, Arkham Asylum, and, you know, of course also Spider-Man now more recently, they changed that. And I think this one will be another entry in that sort of line of games to help with that, right? Also, by the way, Shadow of Mordor was probably also a good IP that took that. Anjay, hey, welcome. How are you doing? Yeah, you know, and the Guardians of the Galaxy looked much better to me than the Avengers game that we've been getting. I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, it sounds almost mean, but I didn't have this feeling of it being like the low budget version of the Avengers as much as, you know, like, oh, the last Guardians, almost I said, like the Guardians of the Galaxy. It felt really cool. Yeah, Zoidy, by the way, welcome to the chat, and the stream. I kind of feel you on that, you know, like, but mostly for me, not because these guys are trying something new, but rather because I feel there's a lot of co-op shooters versus zombies, aliens, or what have you right now, and that's just adding to them. I feel like with Rainbow Six, you know, the extraction is, and it adds another layer even, right? And if you really think about it, with games as a service being such a thing, that just kind of means that all of the existing games in that category, genre, whatever, like even Fortnite or like DayZ or what have you, all these survival games also, they don't go away. They're still relevant, right? And then you just add these. There's so many of these. I'm not quite sure what to think of that. But that's sort of my my odd opinion. I remember being pretty annoyed like 4 years back when it seemed that pretty much every other game was adapting this art style of sort of having, or this element of having ancient culture, like ancient technology that had like these blue LED stripes, right? Like clean ancient alien ruins with the blue LED stripe stuff, right? It was like, I think Horizon had it to an extent, then Breath of the Wild took it in like as a new thing. I mean, they always kind of had it since, I suppose, Skyward Sword, but you know, like, and there's so many things that utilize this kind of visual that I had this moment of like going on a rant about that 4 years ago. But things have changed since then. Sunquad, welcome back. Let me just try to see if I missed any people. Oh, Mate Believe, hey. welcome. I'm just trying to use, I've got this new feature which shows like first time chat for people, and I find it really helpful. I feel like it's nice to greet people who have found the courage to sort of participate in the chat. Because I know, you know, some of you are just lurking, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to participate in our discussion, in our chats, right, have questions about game design, don't hesitate to ask. This is a safe space. We're just here to have a good time and learn something. I wish he looked like Chris Pratt, but it still looks cool. Yeah, I guess so. Got my, and who I saw. I think that's fine. All right. What else? What was my highlight? You know, like, I'm probably of the opinion that many people share where, like, I didn't feel this E3 was particularly exciting. Having said that, I do think what is exciting after this E3 is next year will be an insane year for games, right? Like, all of the titles that sort of have been announced coming out next year, and all the ones that haven't yet been announced, but we kind of assume that will come out next year, like, I don't know, God of War, Ragnarok, right? It's going to be insane. It's going to be an absolutely... I feel like 2022 will be one kick-ass year for gaming. Elden Ring, you know, all of these other games. I can't even name them. There's so many. Just Starfield, of course, also, right? And I don't know. Sony hasn't had their thing yet, right? That's about to come. Oh, like, again, yeah, Breath of the Wild. Is the open world Pokemon game already announced to come out in 2022? You know, even that, it's just going to be absolutely bonkers. And you can kind of tell how it feels like, maybe due to the pandemic, this year, you know, studios have been sort of having to kind of, you know, move titles back or something, or they've been keeping it low, and, you know, the excitement next year will be off the charts. I have this gut feeling. Yeah, but, you know, Elden Ring, always, Miyazaki-san. Oh, it's gonna be so good. That one for sure will stream. I hope I will still be streaming by then. I kind of, you know, I have no plans to the opposite. I'll just keep on doing this as long as their interest. Oh, Sapphire, hello. Thank you so much. Say hi to me from me to Pavel as well. I hope you guys are enjoying your vacation, your well-deserved vacation. And I wish you all the best relaxation and a great time together. It's actually only a half a year now until the Pokemon Legends. Ooh, the Pokemon Legends. The legends say the Pokemon are a thing. Same, the only game I was hoping for. Ah, big sad. All right, guys, what do you say we jump into this Mass Effect thing? Before we do, like a little summary of what we do here to the few people who may not have been watching me previously and only jumped in today, which is, first off, thank you very much for joining in. I hope we can satiate your curiosity by providing some kick-ass design talk, because that is what we do here, right? This channel is all about focusing on learning about game design and mostly level design from existing games. And we are celebrating the work of all of these fantastic studios and their designers on the kick-ass games that they've been making. Because making games is really, really difficult and a very complex process, and many of you may not be aware of that. And I hope that not only we can learn together about how games are made, but that through this I can share a bit of insight into the process of how games are made. Without further ado then, let's jump straight into Mass Effect 3, which is the title we'll be looking at today. The last two streams, we were doing streams on Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, with the focus of learning about improvement. How this series learned from their previous, you know, shortcomings and mistakes maybe and designs, and what they did to improve on that, right? Mass Effect 2 did significant improvements when it comes to the level design over Mass Effect 1, and I'm kind of curious to see how Mass Effect 3 fares with this. A slight difference we have to the last two streams is, where I did prepare a bit more, is that today we're going back to the more original format that we did in our earlier streams, right? Which, by the way, you can see as VODs saved on my channel. So if you missed any previous episode, you can watch the VODs right here on the Twitch channel. I highly recommend it. Of course I would. And yeah, so today I'm going in blind. I mean, I've played Mass Effect 3 back when it came out, but, you know, ever since then I haven't touched it, so I have forgotten a lot, and we're just gonna do it blind and see what happens, you know, what we can learn. I hope it will be as exciting as I anticipate it to be. Sapphire, by the way, glad to hear that everything is fine. Okay, awesome. Let's do this. Let's do some design. But first, guys, stay hydrated. It is summer here in Europe. And for that matter, probably around most parts of the world. Not all of them, but stay hydrated. It's important. Okay, Which button was there? All right, there we go. Jazz Jack Rabbit 2 level. Oh my god, I haven't. That's a name I haven't heard in a long, long time now. That's one of the games I used to play as a kid. I think it was the first game though. Fuck, man. Yeah, that brings back memories. Thank you for bringing that up. That's crazy. Huh. I used to play that in... My dad had his little office in the basement of the house, right? And so I'd sit there alone in the dark, you know, with just this screen, this big... how do you call them in English? I don't know. Remember when monitors used to be like 2 tons of weight, and they'd occupy a space of... Yeah, CRT monitors, right? And they'd occupy a space of 2 square meters. That was the time, and that thing would illuminate me, and I'd see that green little rabbit with the headband, red headband, was it? Right, just running around. Fucking awesome. Okay, I'm not sure, Uranium Bullet. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see. Man, new Mass Effect has me hyped. Yes. Okay, new game. See, it's completely blind. We haven't done anything. So, chat. Which one? Which one do we play? Do we play Femme Shepherd or Male Shepherd? I'm not gonna do a poll on this. Just eyeball it. Crazy Kitty says male. JJ2 is on GOG. What? I need to get in on this. Female. Oh no, don't let this be 50-50 again, please. Remember what happened last time? Oh, by the way, I need to apologize. I didn't manage to do the Mass Effect 2 stream on Sunday simply because I was locked in a traffic jam. I spent the weekend at my parents' place, and it took me ages to get back. So, that sucked. If there's still interest learning more about Mass Effect 2, please do slide into my DMs on Twitter. And if the interest is high enough, then... I'd be glad to set something up. You know, I'm here to entertain you and learn with you guys. And if you have demand to see more Mass Effect, sure, I'd be happy to oblige. Don't look and make it random. Zoidy, actually, I think, yeah, why not? Like, can I do it with yeah, okay. All right. I'm not looking. Stop. It's male. Does that kind of... It's like this is part of the democratic process. Clearly, I think there were more Femme Shepherd voices, so I'm sorry. All right, we are jumping off to watch Mr. Robot, one of, if not the best TV series I have ever seen. Enjoy, genuinely, to anyone who hasn't seen the series, go out and watch it. You know, yeah. Freaking awesome. Okay. I need to read all the highlighted messages. Speaking of save importing in RPGs is one of the best things ever, I swear. Yeah. Fuck, I think it's fucking awesome as well. Gonna say, Miles never saw the Avatar series for this statement to make. Well, but it's not Mr. Robot. Duh. Oh. Choose your experience. Select the type of experience you would like to have. You can change these settings at any time in the options menu. Action, role-playing, or story. I don't remember this. Wow. Combat difficulty is adjusted for player's cutscene. Really? Is that how you solve that? If you have a game where it's kind of all of these, you just offer different experience modes for all of these? Oh, interesting. Najakas, hello. You know, this is probably part of a wider design discussion that is somewhat being held, and I suppose you know, it's like very up to date. Is how much games should compromise in their vision, how much they should try to be all encompassing, right? It's sort of the same thing, I feel, that ties into the whole should From Software games have difficulty settings discussion, right? It is really, and I feel this is sort of in the same vein. Interesting. This must be new, right? I don't think they had this in the original, or had they? if they did, it feels like they were way ahead of their time. That's how you say it. Where's the option for all of these? Yeah, can I, is it exclusive? Can I have all of these? Does there a character and choose dialogue responses? Comment. Well, I'm gonna go with RPG, of course. I mean, not that really matters for what we're doing here, right? Because, but still. Oh, wow. Okay, so they did add a new... Ooh! Alright, the third name typed into the chat wins the lottery here. So you type your names in for Mr. Shepard. Now, I'll pick the third one. Come on, don't be shy. Zenon! It's Zenon Shepard. Alright, Robtrot. Robtrot is actually the name of my vacuum robot. My Roomba. Alright, yeah, let's go. Zenon, congratulations, LOL3K, you won it. Okay, well... no, you know, let's just keep him. Let's just this. So you could have badass Commander Shepard, or you could have, you know, sorry, less badass Commander Shepard. Let's go with this. Maybe let's change the hairstyle a bit. What of hair? Let's make him look really silly. Ooh. Ooh. No. I don't know. Wait, this kind of looks like, oh, it's the right one. Wow, you actually turned the neck? Oh, that's kind of cool. Cool detail. I don't think I've seen that ever since this. Where you turn the neck. You turn the neck. You don't turn the entire character. I feel like I'm gently slapping him over the wrist. Okay, yeah. Wait, let's actually... I said we should make him look as stupid as possible. And, you know, like, why not do that by emulating what I suppose is closest to my... my other hairstyle, which, by the way, Friday I have a haircut. I'll get a haircut, hairdresser's appointment. That was what I wanted to say. English is so difficult, guys. You know what? Where this one? I suppose. Yeah, let's just go with this one. Why not? You know. Accept. I believe in no school, Shepard. Alright, scanning for physical enhancements. Yeah, I don't think it matters all too much here. So let's go with soldier. He does look like a bit of a soldier. I don't know what that means. Very 3 2009 was awesome. What style did you call it? The Commander Shepard hairstyle. The I believe in no school Shepard hairstyle. The too cool for school hairstyle, really, actually. Yeah, that's, you know, I'm disappointed though. Uranium Bullet and Sun Quad, you're using the wrong emojis. Should I type my name? All right, yeah, Earthborn. Wait, I don't remember all of this. You were an orphan, yeah. Both of your parents were in the Alliance military. Yeah, let's do this. My God, all right. Soul Survivor, War Hero, Ruthless. No, Soul Survivor. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Zenon Shepard. Spacer sounds like he's really, really into weed. Like, it's like the Mass Effect term, like how in Dragon Age they don't have, I don't know, God, but it's the Maker. Right, so here they don't have stoners, but spacers. The interactive comic that, no, let's not do that. Even though privately, I'd like to look that. Okay. All right. Oh, that was more fun than it had any right to.
just lost contact with 2 of our deep space outposts. There's something massive on long-range scanners.
Is this what Shepard warned us about?
I'd stake my life on it.
How long do we have?
Not long.
I almost forgot the recording.
The fleet's immobilizing.
God help us all.
How is it possible that every single one of their intro scenes, like to Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3, are all so freaking awesome? Like I'm having goosebumps. 30 years later, they found a peaceful place among dozens of galactic species, but this idyllic future is overshadowed by a dark past. Reapers, a sentient race of machines responsible for cleansing the galaxy of all organic life. Oh no! How was I supposed to do this? Sorry, I tried. I tried to make this immersive, you know, and really get you in to this gameplay experience. Oh man. Squid with boat horns are coming. Don't call my buddy Sovereign that. He has feelings too, presumably.
Commander, you're not supposed to call me that anymore, James. Not supposed to salute you either. We gotta go.
120% stealth, Sunquad is the only way. You know that. By the way, Uranium Bullet, you're right. I think the emojis are very well made. Again, they are done by the amazing Kelly Kuhn.
Anderson?
I love them.
Admiral?
You look good, Shepard. Maybe a little soft around the edges. How are you holding up since being relieved from duty?
It's not so bad once you get used to the hot food and soft beds.
We'll get it sorted out.
Mirosi, very good.
Everyone in such a hurry.
Admiral Hackett's
I know
realized
exactly what you mean.
I'm guessing words made it to Alliance Command. Something big's headed our way.
The Reapers?
We don't know. Not for certain.
What else could it be?
If I knew that.
Oh, what could it be? I'm certain.
It's the Reapers.
I totally didn't realize that is us. Like, I was so used to seeing Commander Shepard, right? And with his default face, I'm like, yeah, I totally didn't recognize ourselves.
They're just scared.
I'm like, who's this dude?
We've all reviewed your report, seen the data you've collected. But it's all just theory to us. You've been there in the...
This just feels wrong. I don't know, I've always played with default Shepard.
That why they grounded me? Took away my ship?
You know that's not true. The shit you've done, any other soldier would have been tried, court-martialed, and discharged. It's your knowledge of the Reapers that kept that from happening.
That and your good word?
Yeah, I trust you, Shepard. And so does the committee.
I'm just a soldier, Anderson. I'm no politician.
I don't need you to be either. I just need you to do whatever the hell it takes to help us stop the Reapers.
They're expecting you to, Admiral.
No witnesses means stealth.
Look in there, Shepard.
I like that attitude.
Anderson? Shepard.
Ashley?
What the?
Lieutenant Commander, how'd it go in there?
I can never tell with them. I'm just waiting for orders now.
Admiral,
Come on.
He looks so dorky.
You know the commander.
I used to.
She totally was checking him out. Yeah, Rosie, I saw the same thing. She totally looked at his butt, didn't she?
Admiral Anderson. Shepard.
What's the situation?
We were hoping you would tell us.
the reports coming in are...
That's usually how it is when I talk to QA about bugs as well.
Everything beyond the soul relay.
Whatever this is, it's incomprehensibly powerful.
You brought me here to confirm what you already know. The Reapers are here.
Then, how do we stop them?
Stop them. This isn't about strategy or tactics. This is about survival. The Reapers are more advanced than we are. More powerful, more intelligent. They don't fear us. And they'll never take pity on us.
But there must be some way.
If we're gonna have any chance at surviving this, we have to stand together.
That's it? That's our plan?
Admiral, we've lost contact with Luna Base.
The moon? It couldn't be that close already.
Oh, they get past our defenses.
Sir, UK headquarters has a visual.
I was talking about these squid bugs.
Why haven't we heard from Admiral Hackett?
What do we do?
The only thing we can. We fight.
Aren't mosquitoes technically bugs?
We should get to the Normandy.
But yeah, you're right, Nojakas. Mosquitoes are the worst.
Oh my god.
Technically vampires. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Do they also die when the sun rises? I do hope.
Shepard! Come on, get up.
Shepard Commander.
Here, take this.
That's it. Cue the credits. Yep, that's depending on my choices so far, I could have just died here and then would have
Lieutenant
ended.
Commander Williams, is that you? What's your status? I can't raise the Normandy. You'll have to contact me. We'll meet you at the landing zone. Anderson up.
All right, come on. Let's do it. I want to play. I want to play. Come on. Oh, this is so cool.
They're massive.
Ooh, all right. So, you know, here's the introductory experience of Mass Effect 3. Let's see how it improves on, or changes rather, from the previous games. I'll just play this. This is just so sick, isn't it?
Let's move.
Yes, yes, yes. It is kind of crazy to think that in the first game, it blew my mind when it was just Sovereign, right? Doing this. And here we are, there's just like 2,000 Reapers now. Oh man, I love this sound. That's the OG Inception sound, I think. Alright. Oh, I kind of missed that, but cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Come on, let's go.
So I think I'll do this bit, then we'll look at the recording
Here, Shepard.
and analyze that. What do you guys think? I'm joking. You don't have a say in this. Alright. I'm enjoying this way too much. Well, it's an older game. Come on.
We'll have to go this way.
Someone please write when this came out. Was it like 2011?
Looks clear, let's go. Come on, let's keep moving.
13? 13? Oh, okay, I see. This is not so... It's not so
Lieutenant Commander,
stupid.
You read me. I'm patching in Shepard.
March 12th. See, there we go. Gotta cut some slack to a 9-year-old game.
Husks! Take him out!
What? Oh.
Shoot him! I'm out of ammo. Come on, we gotta move.
This is my controller shooting. Wait, what happens though if I want to go up there? Oh, I can't. Fair enough. Oh, this sense of scale is so epic. Could you imagine seeing that in real life? Holy shit. Hey, let's actually figure out when they trigger. Do they trigger as I approach them? How close can I go? Oh, I can go very close. Oh, that's very forgiving. So I drop down here, right? I slide down this bit, I'm here. And they're actually no threat. Intriguing. Are you a threat? Nope. Well, I can tell this is a tutorial space, alright. You guys... Ah, it's because I don't reflect off the window. They can't see me. That's, yeah, of course. Sorry.
Have to take these things out the old-fashioned way.
No? No reaction? Tap to melee? Am I supposed not to have any ammo here? Oh, weird. Is this... Is this how it's supposed to be? Bam. Fair enough.
Gotta find a way out of here.
By the way, I just want to point out, don't see me as, you know, kind of finding these little quirks in games as a bad thing. They are things to learn from too. And as you see, I don't think anyone's ever criticized the game for this particular bit. Because overall, I mean, obviously with Mass Effect 3, there were other things people were upset about, but I think, oh my god! Nice, I fell for that. I think, ooh, hold B to melee, bam! Fucking cool. Honestly, I think 99% of Mass Effect 3 are fucking awesome. So, there's that. I stand by that.
Through this way.
Right, actually, I see what they're doing here. I didn't remember this at all. You guys who are more in this, maybe. Oh no.
Hey.
Oh, it's that tune as well. It's is it Clint Mansell? Leaving Earth? I think something like that. It's such a good track, man. I have it on one of my games Spotify playlists. Gets me every time. Isn't it Leaving Earth? I was pretty sure.
Someplace safe. Take my hand.
You can't help me.
You sure?
Shepard!
Maybe it's like an other version of that. Wow. Wow. I'm no. I'm gonna fucking what? Need to. This is. There's someone I need to prove wrong on the internet.
Damn mess.
Leaving Earth. No. No, it is. It's Leaving Earth.
I won't be
It
responsible.
might be the piano version of it. But oh, they both have the same piano. All right, so we don't know. I guess we're all right then. I was just very confused because I vividly remember that song. Yeah, that's the best thing when everyone's right. I understand how you feel.
It's
Yes.
hard enough fighting a war.
So actually, I was in the middle of a question. Because some of you may be more in this right now because if you already replayed it or whatever. Does the third game place a lot more emphasis on melee combat? Because that would now be my impression from what we've done so far.
They still just cut through our defenses. We need to go to the Citadel.
I don't think this is allowed on the internet, by the way, that multiple people get to be right and disagree on something.
You said it
I'm not
yourself.
sure this is legal.
The Reapers will destroy everything if we don't stop them. The Council has to help.
Shepard, that would be Shepard Commander. Yeah, I see. That would be really cool. Tuning was always a bit stiff, and hope they make it more fluid for like Andromeda better. Yeah, I haven't played Andromeda yet, to be honest.
Thanks.
I cannot imagine that it was all bad as people make it out to be.
More than one. Grab some ammo.
Yeah, right? So I think like it gives off the impression so far from the way the tutorial has been designed that it really wants me to understand that melee is important, and the game overall seems to put a bit more emphasis on it. See, I haven't had ammo up until now, so I actually couldn't really use my gun. I like this a lot. I'll tell you why in a bit. Motherfucker! Can you imagine how big Reaper Calamaris would look like? Like the rings? Squid rings.
Lieutenant Commander, Ashley.
Crunchy probably as well. Subtle. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Does it hurt, by the way, when I run into it? No. It's just... Oh. Wait, it can withstand multiple Reaper shots? You're better than the Citadel. I suppose it can survive infinite Reaper shots. I need to add something to my recording. Give me a second. Oh. Yeah, this should make it perfectly clear. Boom. Yes. Yes. Oh, is this cool? Oh. I love this the muted sound. That's something From Software loves to do as well, by the way. Oh, Sunquad is making some correct observations here. I'll make you all to level designers just yet. You'll become fine level designers. By the end of this whole thing, in a year from now, maybe in less, you all will just describe what you see. And if we get to that point and you'll do all of the accurate, you know, sort of analysis, like as a group, I think we'll have something beautiful. We'll make our own studio with blackjack and hookers. Ayoshpek, welcome to the stream.
You two all right?
Hire me, Miles. I know how to sweep a mean brew. Well, we're always looking for people with a special something. Unique talents. Oh, wow. Look at that. Pew. This is the first time we're doing like proper cover shooting here. I mean, we did the husks, but that was kind of them climbing up the wall. No, I think this is the first time we're doing like the be from cover and shoot. I want to make a mental note here, which actually I will turn into a literal note. Give me a second. All right, cool. Just something I want to talk about later on. Because we're professionals here, guys. We do notes and shit. All right, let me take this. Can I go over there? No.
What happened here?
Our gunship was shot down. We barely made it.
You have a radio? We're trying to contact our ship.
I'm not sure if Battlestar Galactica isn't just further away in relative future. I don't know.
Stay here, son. We'll get you out of here. Come on.
The Elden Ring reveal was a weird one for me because I watched it first on my phone and it was really sort of not as impressive, right? But the day after I watched it in like 4K or so on YouTube and I was blown away. Just goes to show how that can change the perception. That's almost... It's interesting. I see. I'm seeing things, guys. Can I loot that? Oops. No. I think he was more interested in Battle Wild. I know Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild. They're my jam. They're the two things that I wanted out of this, and I got them. So with these kind of things, we also always need to consider, and I think this is something that games have only relatively recently, in the last few years, really adapted and learned, to make even sequels sort of a bit accessible to, you know, newcomers, right? So, for example, people that may have played this as their first game. So that's always something that should be considered with your designs. That doesn't need to mean that you can disregard what you've done in the previous games, but the reason why I was thinking about it is like the medkit here, right? You can't just assume that everyone's played the previous games and knows how a medkit looks like, right? So having this strong visual language is important. It should be self-explanatory to the point where even if you haven't played a game like this previously, or even any other game with medkits before, you should understand what this does, right? Oh, look at that. Badass roll. I've learned a lot and watching. Oh, Max! Love that guy. Max also has some books released. That I suppose are very well worth checking out. He just sent me some copies that I really want to check out. But I will be honest, I haven't read them yet, so I can't say whether they're awesome. But knowing Max, they probably are. So here's my recommendation. Ooh, gun.
Shepard, over here.
Badass roll, yeah.
Normandy, this is Anderson. Do you read?
Admiral, what's your location?
By a downed gunship in the harbor. I'm activating its distress beacon. Send support. We've got wounded down here. Lieutenant!
Sunquad, you know, regarding the 180-degree turn ring, I kind of had that impression, yes.
And fast, we've got company.
I like both. I actually this year went out of my way to spend way too much money on a really good espresso machine and a grinder. So now I am able to drink quality tea and coffee because I value quality a lot. Quality in food, quality in my work, quality in drink, quality in games. Oh my god! Oh wow, I'm being... Who the fuck is it that... There's so many of them. Hey, how do I heal? Oh. What the fuck? No, I still have... Okay, I'm not fully in cover on this. This is interesting. Does the game want me to do something in particular? I suppose. I kind of missed the tutorial prompt if there was one. But hey, here. Boom. Thank you, Anderson. Holy shit, what difficulty am I playing this on? I have this impression that the game really wants me to learn how to use my powers here. First aid, right? Oops. Ashbeck, thank you for the bits. Nice. I died, but it's all worth it. Thanks. Nice. Alright. How the fuck did I die here? Wait. Hold position for... Oh, it's a hold position kind of thing. Oh, I totally missed that. I was talking too much. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. You know what? It's keyboard and mouse time. How do I go into... Ooh, shit. How do I do all of these abilities? How do I heal? How do I heal with... Oh my god, no! You moved around cover... Am I being shot at from the back? Oh god. Okay, keyboard and mouse would work really well, presuming that I would know how to use all the abilities. Am I being shot at from the back? No. Okay. This is embarrassing. Let's not do that again. Let's enter game mode. I need to finish this.
Hope they get there soon. You and me both.
Yeah. But there, in by itself, there doesn't seem to be anything in particular forcing me to switch covers at this point, right? May not, you know, it's not like I'm asking for this here, but it is an observation nonetheless. Ammo. Seems important. Wait. Oh, we all can use a bit. Ah, okay. This. What's this? Incendiary ammo. Oh. I suppose this kills these cabals. How do I? Ah, yes. I healed for 1 bar. Intriguing. There we go. That's how it's done. Bye, Anjay. Oh yeah, have fun. Take care. Have fun, man. See you around, Anjay. Have fun. Enjoy the game.
Let's go.
Mythos, hello. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? God does forgive me, since if I need to go all out on this one. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much that's it. I need to use the forbidden technique.
Shepard,
Come on.
I'm not going. You saw those men back there. There's a million more like them, and they need a leader.
If you stay, I'm staying.
Together, Anderson.
It's a fight we can't win. Not without help. We need every species and all their
I
ships
do
to
know
even have
James
a chance at
Hoffman's
defeating
channel. I used to, I learned a lot from him about dialing in my espresso shots.
What if
Let's
they
say
won't
that.
listen?
Then make them listen. Now go. That's an order.
I don't take orders from you anymore, remember?
Consider yourself reinstated, Commander.
What can I say? I do appreciate a good brew.
I'll be back for you, and I'll bring every fleet
It's actually
I can.
something like at the office in Warsaw, we have these insane coffee machines, like full industrial ones, right? Like where, you know, I keep joking that if ever game development doesn't work out for me, after having had the pleasure of using those coffee machines, I could make for a kick-ass barista maybe. But that's one of the big things I've been really missing in home office, is that access to that good coffee. So I needed to, you know, up my game here at home a bit. Coffee. I said for over 2 years so I could buy a Jura machine and change my life. See? It does! You know, and it's nice when you get to a point in life where you can appreciate these things. I feel it's like a very zen thing if you can enjoy, you know, good food, good drink, and take your time to enjoy this stuff. It's the same with games, right? Or any media, any piece of art or whatever. There's a thing of just, oh my god, just you know, binging a series or just really enjoying one. I mean, you can binge a series and enjoy it, but I think there's value in really savoring all of these things. Yeah, for sure. Mirosi, I'll remember that. You know, well, I'll never know where I go next. I have to be prepared for everything, you know. Next thing I know, Reapers attack the planet, and then what? Can't go far with my game design skills, but in the post-apocalypse, it might be handy to be able to know how to make a kick-ass brew. Oh man, this is so good. Fuck, you know, oh, and title screen. Oh, these intros are. I don't know. You guys are just too good at this. You know, I always kind of like imagine if that happened to us. Like, just some alien race dropped by and we just had to leave our planet.
What the hell's going on?
How tragic that would be.
Where are we going?
You know, as someone who's
We're leaving.
had a fairly easy life, you know, and like whose crazy thing in life so far is that the pandemic happened, right? That seemed rather apocalyptic. You need to be geared up for anything now. The Automod is asking if that is okay, Nojakas. I'll say it's fine.
We don't have a choice.
I'd say the proper term, the correct term would be a gamegasm, though.
Drop me off someplace, because I'm not leaving.
We're going to the Citadel.
Oh, shit.
You want out? You can catch a ride back from there.
Commander.
Joker, that you?
Alive and kicking.
Xenon.
Got an emergency transmission.
Good old
from Admiral
Xenon.
Hackett for you.
Patch it through.
Sunquad, I haven't yet. I do have Unreal 5 installed, and I booted it up once. I'm doing this. I'm getting into it.
No way we can defeat them conventionally.
Yeah. You need
Anderson's already
super
ordered me to the
space
Citadel.
weapons.
Talk to the council.
First, I need you to
Or upload Windows 98 into their core system.
Yes, sir.
I've been researching the Frothian archives with Dr. Tassoni.
Okay, I'm a skip this a bit. We will want to continue playing from here on, but now I say, as soon as this is over. Ooh, awesome cutscene time. Oh, Ayashbek says we should do a poster check, so let's do that. Thank you. Man, that's good. Actually, you know, when you do it, it does feel kind of good to sit straight and proper. It's like immediately your body, at least in my case, it goes, yeah, you know, this is what you should be doing. This is good.
I've been trying to reach Mars on secure channels. No one's answering.
Any sign of Reaper
So
activity?
far,
Negative.
so much for skipping shit.
The base appears to be online. It's possible the inhabitants were evacuated.
Yes.
We'll know soon enough. Be ready, Joker. Just in case.
Roger that. Normandy out.
Moisturize. I don't have...
We're almost there.
But it's important to use sunscreen. With burgers?
Still no contact from the base, but we've got a massive storm headed our way.
How long till it hits?
Half hour tops. After that, we're gonna have difficulty keeping up comms with the Normandy.
Understood.
Man, Chad, you are awesome. I really enjoy watching you chat. It's very wholesome. It's easily one of the highlights of my week. And I'm so happy that I've decided to do this together with you, and even more happy that you guys are joining me on this journey. You know, not only about learning stuff, but the sort of the connections we make and all that. It's really, really good. I think it's a really wonderful thing. So, having said that, I shall save the game. Is this saved? I think there must be an autosave, right? Worst case, we'll just... Voltage, thank you for following. I hope you're liking what we're doing here, and I hope you will enjoy it going forward. I will actually just mute the game. There we go. Then I will open up the recording we just took. For that, I need to stop the recording. Voltage, welcome, welcome. Super glad to have you around. How are you doing? If Upper Austrian dialect is anything to go by, it's pronounced Burgers, Burgers, Burgi. Upper Austrian. I don't know what the difference is between an upper and a lower Austrian. Someone said Borgers. What is happening? Okay, let me check the recording. Yes, we have that. Very good. I shall move that onto this screen. Make sure that my awesome software is ready and loaded for some hardcore game analysis. And then we ask Miko to press the button. I need to... This is, by the way, an amazing still I just took of myself. I feel like I need to share this. Okay, but first, go into game analysis mode. Okay, so I set this up, as you can see, that my camera actually covers the camera that is being recorded when we record the game stream, right? Simply because there's no point in seeing that twice. However, look at me pausing this. This is my reaction when I saw the Elden Ring trailer. Wait, oh, I moved aside. Oh, I can probably joke around with this a lot, right? Like, how about just hide myself like. Oh, this is so stupid. Thank you, Kelly Good, for subscribing. Oh, it's the heat, guys. It's doing things to me. Coming from the guy that's trying to educate you and himself on all things game design, trying to be smart about things. Look at what we do. Hey, Miles. What do you have to say about new Cyberpunk DLC? The people have been asking a lot. It also works the other way around. Like, hey, can you talk about, I don't know, like how it was making Witcher 3 without knowing if it really would ever be a hit, right? Because, you know, like it was the first big game that you've been working on. Okay, enough of this. Good times. All right. Let's actually do something more serious. But that's what it's all about. We're here to have fun. Enough fun. Exactly. Fippy said it. You know, I'm German, and I actually have a bit of a fun allergy, right? Like, that's why I have my tattoo. It's actually just an allergic reaction to fun. It's not a tattoo. So let's not go deeper into this. Cool. Okay. Oh, it has the game audio. Fun? Not on my watch. Yeah, exactly. The fun police will come in here and bust down my door. That's what the common trope is. Okay, let's skip all this awesome introductory scene. And, Toasted. We still have that. It's on the list for official ones. We'll make it. And of course, you know, like if I ever get enough slots, you know, I want to have a lot of awesome things for tier 1 subscriptions. And again, I'll try to always keep the entry level with the random sub unlock for any stream really low, so, you know, anyone can really use them. All right, this is so captivating. All right, okay, cool. Right, we start the game with this, which is awesome. One thing in particular that I really think this sets up, other than the obvious scene, right? I'm talking about our dear friend, the Reaper. Do you see all the colors I have here now? Do you see this? Fucking A, right? Fucking A. I also can add new ones. That's just how powerful this is. All right, you see this guy? He's not Sovereign. He might be Sovereign's brother. Who knows? But he actually plays an important role, right? This Reaper not only sets up the whole scene, the atmosphere, right? But it instantly becomes what we call a landmark in level design, right? It is a very characteristic spot in the landscape that allows the player to recognize it, right? And hence use it as a sort of navigational point. And we will see how this works later on, right? But just make a mental note here, landmark, navigational point, you know, and you'll be good. That's cool, the little skyscraper just falling apart. And I like how literally wherever you go, you see these skyscrapers. Do you also like art-wise, they're doing something slightly like, it's not slightly interesting, it's actually interesting, but it's like a tiny little thing. That's what I wanted to say. Is notice how the entire architecture of Earth, why is gray the default one? That's just not correct. How the entire architecture here, right, is basically these like very straight kind of buildings, right? And this one maybe as well. But the Reapers, they actually have a very characteristic and in this landscape then unique almost, oh wait, God, why is it unique silhouette, right? Like almost this kind of shape, like, and that makes them just pop a bit more, right? So the eye kind of notices them a bit more, and it's cool. Of course, you know, like, imagine it would have been very easy to make this city sort of Coruscant style, right? Like from Star Wars, and just have huge skyscrapers of various shapes and forms, round buildings, whatever. But then you might not see these guys so much. So just by sort of creating this contrast between the shapes, this is shape contrast, very classic, right? Using the silhouettes, you are able to highlight the elements that are important for the player to kind of see, right? And it's cool. It's a cool little thing, of course, where that, like, narratively also, that wherever you look, you have the frickin' Reapers, right? They're everywhere. So it's kind of cool. Bungie makes the absolute best skyboxes. Changed my mind. I wanted to come up with like counter examples of other great skyboxes. Like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption had some awesome ones as well. And I'm sure there were some contemporary ones. Forza is difficult to beat. Is the game audio too quiet? Should I do it louder like this? Is this better?
Come on, let's go.
It's very quiet still. Okay, let me try and figure this out. Maybe this. Ooh, how about now? I mean, it is, after all, the recording of it, which I record quite quietly. Vroom. I can also tune this up a bit. Alright, I hope this is good. Okay, so here's something interesting also. Something that they're definitely doing different to the first two games, right? Remember how in the first game and in the second game, we both had a party with us, right, of other people. Now, in those games, they didn't really do a lot, right? They basically were our sidekicks, and they helped us in combat. And there was an occasion, a moment where, I don't know, with Jacob, for example, you could use his bionic abilities to learn about squad ability usage and changing weapons and all of that stuff, right? Compare that to what's happening here. What is the big difference that we have in gameplay compared to Mass Effect 2 and 3 in this section?
Come on.
All right.
They'll pick us up if we can get to the spaceport. Let's move.
And I'm asking you to think about this. Maybe you'll notice it.
Look out!
Skipping a bit. No clue? Is there no one who is bold enough to make a guess?
Let's go.
It might be also the delay, I don't know. All right. If you don't want to tell me, you, oh, lol 3K. Very good. Yes. So here, lol 3K answer. So the question was, you know, how the companion you have behaves differently than in the first two games, or how the usage of that companion is different, right? And lol3k actually correctly pointed this out, so 10 points to lol3k. Actually, I need to make this, I need to figure out how to use the stream elements bot to give points to people like this. We'll do it, and then we'll have a leaderboard and everything. We'll do this. 10 points to lol3k. Yeah, so basically, Anderson here, our buddy Anderson, is taking on the role of a guide, right? Which is cool, not only because we have a bit of someone trying to lead us through the level, right? It helps with the us moving through it, but also it helps us understand in a very, very intuitive, non-hand-holdy way what we need to do, right? It's not only the direction, but it's also about the action. So for here, for example, okay, walk up left. Like from this perspective, you know, like looking at the Reapers and all of that, this isn't necessarily the most obvious path, right? It only kind of becomes that because there's not really another way to go. But even from this point of view, it's not like this side is really calling you to go up, right? But it becomes that after Anderson kind of just walks up, right? So it's very natural to follow him. But here, see, he actually does the tutorial thing for us or before us, right? So we kind of know, all right, this is what we need to do. That's what the game wants from us. And it's quite an elegant way to do it, you know, in this way, because it allows you to feel less like you're being pushed to do something, right? Yeah, it's an easy way for you to understand these kind of things. The path is pretty linear, so I don't know if a guide is that necessary. Well, Shepard, that, you know, is something we actually touched on in some previous episodes also, is that even in areas that are linear and all of that stuff, right? Like with a lot of action going on, it can be still quite confusing, right? It can be overwhelming, and you want the player to have not to have the player's brain occupied with all of this sensory overload, right? But you want it to focus on the elements that are important right now, like understanding what's going on, understanding where they need to go, understanding what they need to do, right? So by doing these kind of things, you can take away noise, right? And make the gameplay a bit more intuitive, which again then frees up some of the brain capacity to use on the useful stuff. So even though this is a bit more linear, doing this kind of stuff, you know, makes it very digestible, right? And as a result, I can focus on learning the game much better.
Let's go.
It's a bit easier to understand when you see it happen once, you know, like it's like in real life, you know, picking up a new skill is a bit easier if you have someone who shows you how it's done first, right? Exactly. In this case, it also can sort of help pull the player forward, right? Not to meddle too long at the same spot. Right? And especially here, like these are not very natural pathways, right? They're not something you would necessarily understand as passages, right? And so having some NPC walk over it before you kind of validates it as a route. Which of course could have been achieved in many other ways, right? Like I would wager, for example, that if the architecture here was a bit different, let's assume for a second, maybe they had grass growing here because it's like a green place, right? That might be something that would make it a bit more like, oh, look, it looks like a path, right? And then you'd be more inclined to walk on it, right? Simple kind of change. Not sure if it would fit the style here. You could probably pick something else other than grass, but this is just sort of brainstorming. I just realized I wasn't entirely scrolled up on the activity feed for my stream, so I might have missed some of you guys. Like Nuclear Snack following me. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're still there. Okay. Yeah, and especially at the beginning of the game, right? You don't want ever to have a moment where the player genuinely feels stuck, right? Like having that right at the beginning of the game, a moment of genuine frustration, not so good. You want to keep the player engaged, right? And like the experience. This is also kind of cool. Notice how, and I think this is something they're doing much more even already compared to Mass Effect 2, is how they use the set with everything going on to help guide the player and build the atmosphere, right? It's not so much about just doing, oh, here's a light being placed there, and here is the grass texture to simulate a path, but they're using the entire action they have to help guide the player and the player's eye, right? Notice how, so something that you should notice, and I'm telling this to you now because it's not so obvious from here because they want to point at it, right? This thing over here, you can see the tip there. That's actually a ladder, right? Nowadays in many other games, this, like including Cyberpunk, for example, this ladder might just be yellow, right? Like a screaming color to kind of point at it a bit more. The Last of Us also does it a lot, right? They're using the yellow signal color. Here, that is not so much the case. Might have been because that wasn't a thing back then. I actually don't remember because I wasn't actually working in the industry when this game came out. I was still a QA and studying for that matter. Or maybe it's just something they didn't do, right? So what happens here is, look at how the spaceship drops by and the drones, and they actually fly towards the general area where this ladder is, right? And again, it also it protrudes from this, right? So that's why it kind of pops out a bit more. But like the flight of the drones towards this area becomes a bit more apparent in the next frame or two. See how they actually fly directly over it? Oh yeah, they do, right? Nice and elegant way to add some more narrative, add some more action, right? All of this sort of build the world while also using these tools as player guidance. And again, motion is really, really strong of something to catch your eye, right? Like something suddenly moving is very easily bound to catch your attention. You may have experienced this also where you've seen stuff only move in your peripheral view, right? And it immediately catches your attention. You look over it, right? And you know, it's just how our brain is so well able to pick up on these things. About the game's color palette, there used to be a time, I'm not sure if this still holds up, where you'd kind of say, like there was sort of, it's almost this thing where sort of European, US games, or especially European games, they were more muted in color. And then you'd look at Eastern games, so like from Japan, right, that have like really fancy colors. And I think even US games used to be more on the colorful end compared to European ones. And again, here, you know, same thing. I'm not sure like it's a really strong, like there's a really strong calling on for me to use this cover. I don't see enemies and all of that, right? So it's not really like I feel like I need to pull cover, but our buddy Anderson is already doing it. And then of course you have the tutorial prompt. So it's kind of like, okay, I guess I'll do it.
Let's go.
And this is again like in Mass Effect 2, right? Where they have this sort of double tutorial, right? Where basically you are seeking cover, so you learn how to use cover, but at the same time then also getting a bit of locomotion taught by, you know, showing you that, hey, you can actually vault over this. Loot Strix is asking, by the way, welcome to the chat. I'm glad you're participating. How would you describe good exploration in video games? Which factors contribute to it? Which games you believe do it best? Do you think CBR games make any design mistakes when it comes to open world exploration? Oh, I think we're talking about two different things here, right? There's a difference between like sort of larger scale. Actually, you know what? Let's let's do this. So there's a bit of a difference between what I'd call sort of larger scale exploration in open world games, right? The ability of the player to just walk out and stumble over content, right, from place to place. And there's sort of like on a smaller scale when you're exploring a location and I don't know, you crack open a door in Cyberpunk and then you open it and you find some special loot, right? Or a note that details more of the story background of a location and all of these kind of things. I think making that distinction is important for the understanding of how good exploration works, right? Because they sort of, they have commonalities, but they also have slightly different characteristics or things that you do to make these work, right? And generally, I find that, oh, let me think about this for a second. I think, you know, good exploration is the kind that encourages the player and rewards players to engage with it, right? So if it's something, if the game manages it to draw the player off the main path and make the player want to go off the beaten path because they can expect loot or story or other awesome things, I think then you're probably doing something right. And I think there's quite a few games that do it well, but it also highlights how different the approach to good exploration can be, right? There is, for example, more guided exploration. While I'm personally not the biggest fan, there is merit in the way that, for example, games like Assassin's Creed do it, where they make discovering new content much, much more easy, right? The idea being that it's not so much about searching for the exploration, but rather what you will find at the destination, the adventures you get to do there, right? And then on the other hand, you have a line of philosophy which focuses more on the idea of the path or the journey, like it being all about the journey, right? So you have games like Breath of the Wild or let's say Dark Souls or some older RPGs, and to a lesser extent, you know, also Witcher 3, you can turn off all the markers and you basically get that experience where it allows the player to just stumble into the game world, pick a course, and then find stuff, right? And there you can actually sort of look and argue if games also put a lot of emphasis about what it is that you find, or if it's more about the journey itself. I would wager, for example, that Breath of the Wild is a game that focuses more on the journey as opposed to the content, because these shrines that you can find and all that stuff, they're all awesome. I suppose to a degree also the seeds you can find are kind of cool, but I would say the highlight is actually trying to find something, right? You pick a course, you climb over stuff, you have different kinds of locomotion, you sail, like glide down a mountain and all that stuff, and then you walk around the corner and suddenly there's a village, right? And there's not a lot you can do in that village, right? I'm talking about, I think it's Kakariko village, but it's there and it's kind of cool, right? So definitely two lines of thought here. They can certainly be married. Some games do that. And I think, like personally, for my own tastes, I hope that's where games are going more. I'm a big fan of like this kind of more free-form exploration. And yeah, you know, that's my 2 cents on that. I hope that answers your question. And of course, there's much more like detailed technical stuff that you can do to make exploration cool. I literally just had an internal presentation about this kind of topic, you know, like exploration, because we kind of try to grow and, you know, teach each other and all of that stuff. So we look at topics, you know, like as designers, and have, it's sort of the same stuff like GDC, right? Where people present interesting findings and insights that they've learned, and other people get to learn and contribute from it. To it. So yeah, I mean, there's my point is there's a lot of sort of like technical stuff you can also do to create good exploration, and part of this is also why we play these kind of games, because we're finding these kind of rules and methods that different designers from different games are applying that might not be too obvious to people who are not involved, and even to people like me who are more in the topic, right? I can have quite a few surprises, and I must say that especially Dishonored was quite eye-opening in that regard, because they do it quite differently than we do it in Cyberpunk, and I think both ways have a certain set of validity, but there's also stuff in both of these games, as different as they are, that that you can learn from to improve your own designs. So cool. Okay, Obix Place. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of fun. I wish, you know, and I hope that the Breath of the Wild 2 improves on that. I just wish that the reward for exploring in the game was a bit bigger. That would be my main gripe with it, I think. All right, let's continue on our journey of looking at this stuff. So yeah, last I talked about is that this is a cool little double thing, right? Not only do you learn how to use cover, but you also learn how to vault, and that you can sort of climb up smaller height differences. Exploration in Dark Souls games encourages me to cry. Me too sometimes. I think that's normal. But mostly because you die and get to do it again.
We're about 5 minutes out. Take him out.
And see here again, right? I don't know where the husks are, but because he starts shooting at it, I know. And I mean, it works really well here. There's nothing really to blame or to fault here. But I'm wondering if, you know, like this kind of stuff probably has the risk of making you as a designer lazy, right? Because here they're not, you can tell they're not utilizing any of the other sort of techniques that you could use, like lighting, right? Like I suppose you could create, imagine there was a billboard here, right? That was glowing, or maybe this surface looked different in some other way that would make it stick out a bit more. And then you could see the husks climbing over it, right? I actually like the idea of it being a billboard, because you would have like it glow faintly, right? And you would see the silhouettes of the husks climbing up really, really well. But Anderson really takes a lot of the job that we need to do there kind of away from the designers. And that's good. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It works. And as long as it does that and it fulfills its purpose of you seeing there's nothing really to fault here. Miles, do you have Food Lab by J. Lopez Alt and or are wearing black socks? Asking for a friend. No, but I am wearing black socks. I have no clue what you're talking about, to be honest. Ghost of Tsushima was my Breath of the Wild. See, and they also do it differently with the sort of wind mechanic, right? Yet another sort of way of doing things. I haven't played Inside yet, although I've heard many, many great things of it. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Ayashbek, thank you for the bits. Aha, I see. It's okay. It's nice times twice. Okay, so here, look at this. This is an interesting little thing they had, right? I wonder if they did it differently at some point and then realized there was a problem with this. It didn't quite work the way they wanted to, so they altered it. That would just be my guess here. Remember how down there where at the window we would see the husks attacking the window, right? Imagine what would happen if they were already there at this point. Can you imagine what the player would likely do? Pretty much. Yeah, right? And that's not really in the spirit of what they figured they wanted to teach me here, right? They want to teach you about melee. Have to say goodbye for a few weeks. Have fun with streaming and learning all pleasant. Corpoik, I hope whatever you're doing in these few weeks, I hope it's awesome. You're having a good time. Thank you so much for dropping by and learning together with us and the kind words. I wish you all the best. Do come back though. Mirosi, thank you for the bits. Everyone, be nice to Corpoik. We'll miss you. Okay, so we go down. Right, actually, I'm curious to see when these guys spawn. Oh, by the way, here. This is our landmark moment, right? See, this big old Reaper is still there, but we have sort of shifted positions in how we see him. And basically by him being there, we get more of a sense of how we're moving around the level, right? It becomes more believable, but it becomes more understandable for us that we're sort of, you know, trying to move around him in this sort of, you know, circular shape, right? And that's how a landmark like that can be important, because we can sort of look at it and understand our movement relative to it, right? And that allows us to understand more how the world actually is shaped. Unami, it's not a big deal. You can watch the VOD, for example, but also we're still not quite done yet. There's still plenty of stuff to learn today and to take a look at. And I hope you will enjoy that. Thanks for dropping by. So yeah, the Landmark Reaper. Also, it's really badass looking, isn't it? Okay, so we can hear the guys from the left side now. Huh, intriguing. When did they actually arrive? We missed that. They're just there. What? What happened? They're still not here as we went down the ladder. David M, thank you. So posture check, everyone. Yeah, you're right. Actually, good one. You know, it's important. Good posture. Okay, so the husks are still not there. Notice on the left side, they're not there. I look at the dude. And now I hear them. Here, see? When the fuck did these guys spawn? Interesting. What I'm imagining might happen, and I would need to reverse engineer this by looking at it, into the roach crotch Stoachman. Yeah, there is a chance of that. Hello or bye. So you know what? I'm thinking that. So my initial suspicion here would be that maybe there is like a camera check condition that checks whether I'm looking up and away from the window, possibly at the Reaper, right? And then they spawn it. Of course, you have the risk of the player never looking at that and then it possibly glitching out. But maybe if you make the trigger generous, and sometimes you can also do it inverse. Like you can check, is the player not looking at a certain spot, right? That might be a safer thing. And then you spawn it. Ayashbek, thank you so much for subscribing. Holy shit. That's very kind of you. I'm very glad. Yeah, use those emojis. All right, so interestingly enough, again, as you said, you are all correct with, you know, like we would have sniped the alien, the Huss, if it was from up there, right? Because it would be the safe thing to do. However, notice also how we have very little ammo. I actually didn't miss too much, I think, in the previous shootout. Did I do any shootout before that? I'm not quite sure. Oh, I respect. Thank you. I love you too, man. Next week, I hope you can get a subscribers badge. We're working on that stuff. Yeah, so these guys don't attack. And it's a bit it's a bit weird. I suppose like what I did is a bit over the top, right? Most players would intuitively, because they've seen them climb up previously. Ah, yeah, actually your first shooting tutorial was not in active combat, but is actually against enemies just crawling up. And I presume they might have jumped down at you if you didn't shoot them. So you kind of know they're a threat. They are threatening. They're right in your face. So players kind of would shoot them immediately most of the time, right? I'm not sure if it's needed to make it like this, where it's literally they won't. I suppose if it's a tutorial and you want the player to like this to be foolproof so the player can't die, it kind of is okay. But I consider this very gamey, right? I don't think nowadays most games would handle it like this. And I also might presume that like a new Mass Effect would probably not do it this way as well. It feels a bit old school. Alright, so I'm out of ammo, right? I don't know this yet. I think I will run out of ammo soonish. Yeah, after one dude. So the game intentionally leaves me with very little ammo. So now I'm actually forced to use the melee combat. And I think this is, again, because this game puts more emphasis on this, which is different to the previous games, right? Like we had the melee thing, but it wasn't so important. So here they're really wanting you to use it and to understand, hey, this is a thing, right? If you're out of ammo, you can use this. And later on, just a second later, it actually feels really powerful as well. It's pretty cool. Oh, you get one more. You still don't have it, and you do it in a slightly more challenging way. And it's also kind of a neat little trick to make the player look into the direction again where the Reaper shoots. So this whole transition from here into cutscene isn't as weird, right? Remember how the first game didn't utilize this kind of stuff at all, resulting in some really jarring cuts into the cutscene from gameplay, right? That actually made you confused. So here they even are employing some little tricks to make that transition more smooth and hence a bit more understandable. I want to make a mental note here about this. So the melee tutorial husks. What would happen if I killed this guy further away from the door? I think the transition would still work, but it might adapt to it. And also, what would happen if I let the first husks climb up the thing? And then there was also the matter of watching the melee tutorial husks spawn. I will want to check this out. If you're up for it, I would want to take a look at that next instead of continuing the play session towards the next section of the game. If you think that's interesting. It's a bit less about, you know, like the actual design. I mean, it's related, but it's more about looking under the hood from a technical point of view, which might also be interesting.
Gotta find a way out of here.
There might very well be, Kelly. Like, they probably, you know, clearly they learned quite a bit. And I like how they're emphasizing the melee bit with the next tutorial, right? You have this door and you're like, okay, I'll go to the door. This opens. I'm scared a bit because I easily scare. And here you learn the heavy melee attack. It feels really good. And it kind of underlines the idea of, hey, melee is a cool thing in this game. Use it. All the time while preventing me from finding new ammo. So I'm forced to use these tools, right? He's sad. Okay, so we have this cutscene with the kid playing, but I really need to take a leak real quick. So I will take a short break, 1 minute, 2, however long. Be right back, okay? Of course, Miko is cool too. All right, okay. Did I miss anything? Sunquad is moving his laptop from room to room. Good. Yes, exactly. Camera movement is very well utilized here. Poor chair. Maybe next time. It is a great chair. I like it. Oh, Miles is cat owner. Then and I joined the dog side of the force. Dogs are awesome too. I don't get the whole, like you know, competition. They're both awesome. They're different. Ideally, at some point in my life, I want to have both a cat and a dog. And in a perfect world, they'd kind of grew up together and then they'd cuddle all day. It'd be so cute. All right. Danya, that's all fine. It's all fine. I'm very happy that you decided to join today and spend your time with us. I'm hoping you're having a good time. Guys, also, again, like you can use skill points, the channel currency, to unlock a random sub emote for really cheap. So you can too participate in the awesome emoji spam. And why am I mentioning this? Not because I want you to subscribe, because you know you really don't need to use these emojis, because you can, you know, unlock them. But I love the emojis. I think they're fucking awesome, and we're preparing more and better ones, even. And you know, I think they should be used. They're fucking cool. Okay, having now bumped my own shit, let's continue looking at game analysis. Yeah, poor kiddo. It's a cool moment. It's a cool moment in the story.
Shepard.
Yeah, it really drives into this whole Shepard suffering mentally from this whole thing as well.
Every minute these machines are here, thousands of innocent people die.
Some nice smiles emoji. Put that on the list.
It's the time. And the fight said it yourself. We don't stop to help. You sure about
Yeah, nice framing, right? I mean, this is pretty much like straight, but it's it is framing nonetheless, and tells you where to go. Good thing that the ammo is also right in front of us. I am curious about that too. toasted emote is one I'm looking forward to very much. But there's also some others in the pipeline. Yeah, again, here we have this whole moment with the landmark allowing us to understand how we've moved, right? Especially important because there was some cutscene movement in between the last time we got to look at it, right? So we actually see, oh, from the moment we fought the husks, right, we've moved in a certain way, and now we're a bit further away from the Reaper and all of these things. It's kind of cool. Small little element. Enjoy, Sunquat. Enjoy. This is awesome. You know, like, the cool thing is, can you just imagine this, how it would look like in a modern game, right? Like, this dude would drop into the water and you'd have these huge waves underneath the tentacles, right? It would look amazing. Games have come so far. It's so cool. Kind of cool little element that we have to walk towards the Reaper here. So I paused right in the correct moment to give a bit of a subtle hint again at like how these level designers here and environment artists have been even employing very, very subtle sort of tricks to help again make the path feel more intuitive. And straight off the bat, I see 3 things. Can you tell me the 3 sort of almost techniques or things they have done here? Or at least one. Come on. It's all very similar stuff, by the way. It's not like vastly different, but it's noticeable. I already told one. Lean back time? I don't remember. Ah, no, we're not talking about Anderson anymore. I mean, Anderson is kind of, we know this, right? Anderson, yeah, okay. Anderson is still doing the thing. Okay, sure, fine. I'll take it. Sorry, but I don't mean that. I mean purely from an environmental / level design point of view. Someone mentioned the cables. Oh, so it's 4 actually. All right, yeah, that's very good. Cables, yes. The cover, I suppose it's close. It's close, Mirosi. It's very close to what I'm actually referring to. And duct exit obstructing the way to... There's many things here, actually. Now it's sort of increased to 5 for me after some of your inputs. Trash can in front. Yeah, kind of. It's kind of going in the right direction. Okay, you are having good assumptions here, right? But you're missing 2 kind of... between 2 of those covers, yeah. So yeah, you're kind of missing a few little things, but let me enlighten you. Yes, the curve, Eierspec, the curve is one of them, right? Notice how this is not randomly placed, right? Like this kind of stuff is creating the sensation of there being a bit of a curve, right? And the placement of the assets actually helps with that, right? So that's a small little thing. Then there is also, and I love this because it's something that Shigeru Miyamoto once said, I think in an interview, is that people really, really like to walk through gates, right? And I think it was in reference to, was it a Zelda game? I think he was talking about Torii gates in Kyoto or something. You know, these sort of Japanese sacred gates. And this is something you can utilize in your designs as well. And if you look at this really closely, this, you can argue, you know, like with the way the silhouettes are working, you've got this, right? Which creates a bit of a space here. And arguably then, with this being on top, you get almost a bit of a sort of gate shape right here, right? It feels a bit far-fetched, but I hope you can see what I mean. Because it definitely actually creates, I think this makes it more clear, right? What's happening here. And that's it, right? That's the thing that, you know, really kind of subconsciously likes to pull us in. One thing I also like is not only the cable, which we've noticed, right? The cable is moving, again, movement, cool. It's flashing, it's doing something different than the entire other area. It's right dead in the center. But also the text here is kind of cool because it's something our eyes can instantly recognize, right? If you are used to Roman numerals and, you know, our letter system, right? Then it's almost impossible not to read this, right? Like you look at it and your eye goes, ah, it's TM. Okay, you know, you can't. It's almost impossible. What is a gate if not a door that doesn't open or close? Well, you're getting very philosophical today. I think it's like this is like a room for a whole nother stream. So yeah, you have another element here, right? Like that kind of gently guides the player's eye. And it's actually fascinating to see then how all of these techniques are being layered on top of each other, right? We have Anderson guiding the way. We have the curvature by asset placement from here, right? That actually kind of extends like this, if you will. We have the sort of space that is being created in between with this sort of gate shape, right? We have the text, we have the cable, and all of these kind of help to make this passage, which is linear here though, still more intuitive. I don't need to think twice about it. I just do it, and that's why I can focus on the experience of the game more, right? Actually, you could even argue that the way this is angled, right, even with this here, it does also kind of meet here, right? So many small things, and it's interesting to be able to source or to see so many kind of things work together, even in this like split second of gameplay. And isn't it crazy to think that even something that, if we look at it now, please don't stop, Miles. Okay, I stopped and looked at it instantly. One. You know, the average player might just run through this in like 2-3 seconds, right? I suppose you would agree with this, right? And that even that moment had so much thought put into it. And like work. It's quite crazy, I think. But that's how it's done. That's, you know, how games are made. And it's actually fascinating because we were talking about how the camera is sort of naturally guided to the area where you need to be looking at, right? So all of this also helps to instantly look at that spaceship up top right, you know? So it's like this very natural transition to the player actually finding that spaceship without really needing to look for it, right? And it's cool. Damn, you're automatically looking in the right direction. It's invulnerable until we get closer. And then it isn't. Here also, right? Very obvious sort of curvature. And there's no real markers or so of sorts to signpost where we are supposed to drop down. That is because it's a trick. It's a trick. It's a trick. I know From Software loves doing this. Oh yeah, here even is, you know, even here you have this kind of stuff, right? And also here, curvature. Stuff doesn't normally fall like that, but in games, we do it to help you along just a slightly bit. And because of this intuitivity here, it actually, this whole trap here works better, right? Because you don't need to think twice where you're going. You just go. You just go with the flow, right? And what this does is it sets the player up to fall into the designer's trap and get this, literally the rug pulled under your feet, from under your feet, so you get a surprise. Imagine how much less impactful this moment would have been if we had to spend like, 5 minutes trying to find this bit, right? And just stumbling, I don't know where I need to go. Where's this? Oh, where's the sound coming from? I don't know, right? And yeah, here we go. And it, it sets us up right for the path that we need to go right in front of us. And having the slight height difference also, it's a small thing, but it is meaningful in terms of getting players to move forward, right? By it sort of going down a bit, it's very inviting. It almost pulls you down, right? To go down this ramp, which it would have still done if it was straight or on the same height, but by this way, it's ever so slightly more inviting. Being this close to a Reaper is awesome. Reinforced knowledge that you've picked up earlier. Yes, and I think this is one of the big improvements we're seeing here, even compared to Mass Effect 2, right? Like the level design in Mass Effect 2 was a substantial improvement in terms of player guidance to Mass Effect 1. I think we've all seen this. Thank you, Irishbeck, for the cheer, for the bit. And I think you would agree with that, especially those of you who've stuck around the last 2 episodes. But here, what I'm seeing is also, again, like an evolution in terms of them utilizing many, many more tools and integrating and interweaving all of these elements much more closer so that the level isn't just something that the player walks through from A to B, but it becomes more of a cohesive experience that is not only trying to be intuitive, but it is being intuitive so you can build a story. Right? And that's wonderful to see. And it feels like a really natural evolution if you really think about it. Or at least now that we look at it, right? With a bit of hindsight, sort of. One-way drop. Towards this action, we get attacked. Yep.
Keep your head down. Nice shot.
Okay. First time we get to do this whole cover shooting thing. Interesting actually how late that is, right? I think previously there was no real moment where you did the whole cover shooting against enemies that would fight back. And you can see how these guys even have sort of like have a clear scaling of difficulty, right? If I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you start out with shooting at targets that are merely moving, but they're otherwise sitting ducks, right? No resistance. It's the guys crawling up. Then you run out of ammo because you have very little. You have used it on all of these husks. You are forced to use melee attacks against targets that literally won't fight back. Again, the second after with the dude that is locked in between the doors, right? So until that moment, we haven't fought a single enemy that was actually a threat. And it is all the way until this point where we're now actually having our first enemy confrontation of enemies that are actually fighting back. Interesting how long that took, right? And I made a note about this. I'm not sure how much it applies here, but I once heard... Who was it? Oh, yeah. I once heard from one of my previous leads, Mateusz Piaszkiewicz. I hope I didn't butcher his name. I'm really bad still with these kind of names. He said something which I thought was an interesting kind of bit, which is in many games... or probably in all games, like the first kill you do in a game sort of sets the tone for the entire rest of it. Which I think, is true to a degree, or if true, is cool, right? It isn't, not all the games sort of apply this, but I think if you look at many of the games that focus on really good game design, right, gameplay design, it generally seems to hold true. Think, for example, of Assassin's Creed games. Oftentimes, the first kill you'll do will be a stealth kill because it's kind of setting you up to do these kind of things, right? Doom is a great example. Doom 2016. For those of you who have played it, think about the first kill you do there and how that literally sets the tone for the entire rest of the game, right? Which is you being an unstoppable badass that just destroys demons. And, you know, I think this is like a healthy kind of almost exercise to think about and how it might apply to your favorite games. If I think, for example, about Bloodborne, literally the first kill you do is actually you die, right? Which I think is, yeah, that sets the tone for the game really well. So pretty cool, actually. And I think here the first kill was these husks. I'm not sure, again, like if it's then an example where this applies. Maybe it's not, it's something more of a recent development in games, a recent principle, because I don't see how it really applies here. I just thought it was interesting of a concept to bring up, right? Because I actually think it's something probably worth doing and thinking about and considering. Yeah, probably at this point in time of the games happening, it wasn't so predominant. But yeah, what's happening? I've seen worse Polish for sure. Yes, I hear miles with my eyes. All right, everyone, it's time. So yeah, I don't know. Let's think about that for a second, maybe. And maybe, you know, you can just throw in a game that you like, a recent game, and figure out how this may apply to it, right? The whole concept of the first kill setting up the tone for the entire rest of the game. Now that I think about it, how was it in God of War 2018? Poster check, everyone. Thank you, Ayash Beck, for reminding us and keeping us healthy. I think the first kill there, was it against one of the Draugrs? Was it cinematic? Was it the deer? I don't know. I don't think it was the deer. I don't remember, actually. But I think I have a hunch that it might very well sort of apply to this as well. Yeah. Well, you get the point, right? Let's move on. Again, yeah, I found it fascinating how late this kind of combat happens into the tutorial. They really took their time with this. Yeah, I think the deer kill happened at the end of this sort of prologue tutorial, right? You fight the troll, that's a kill, and I mean, if literally that had been the first kill, which it is not, that would definitely set the tone and how brutally Kratos dismantles that troll. But I think the first kill you do is probably a Draugr, and you do it with your axe, and it might be badass looking either from throwing or have like a finisher animation. I'm not entirely sure. But for sure, if that was the case, it would apply. Yeah, but was it badass? Was it just like you press A and he dies? Or was it combined with a little finisher move? I wonder. I don't remember anymore.
What happened here? Our gunship was shot down. We barely made it.
You have a radio?
Again, it's not something that you need to do in games, but I think it's like a philosophy worth living by.
Stay here, son. We'll get you out of here.
Because the more I think about it, the more it feels like it's true.
Let's get to that gunship.
Atreus runs off and Kratos gets ambushed, if I remember. Yeah, but how do you kill that first Draugr? That was the question. I wonder. Yeah, and Sunquad pointed this out correctly earlier, right? Not only does this sort of curvature here look cool because it's otherworldly, but it, like this whole curve actually, oddly enough, really creates this whole pull towards the left, right? Almost this circular motion. And that is coincidentally where you need to go. Plus, they're using a bit of the whole color thing and the flame going on here to kind of, you know, make this spot pop out a bit more. It's actually interesting how even the whole plane, right? It's sort of like you have this, but you also have the plane continue this shape. So it's almost like if you follow this whole shape from right to left, you have a moment like you have like the moment with the plane where the eye just continues down this line, right? And it guides you towards the right direction. Notice this. Here you kind of follow it, and then the plane sort of picks it almost up, right? And then you have the fire and the color of the well, the burning picking that shape up, and it's sort of like a nice little breadcrumb trail that you can follow with your eyes. I think Nojakas, you might be right. It might be something like this. Also interesting, notice how even here, like you have these little elements. Not only is this shaped like a ramp, right? But there's these little yellow elements which kind of make this pop a bit more, right? A bit more reminiscent of stairs, almost, of steps. Oops. See, and they don't always use these for sort of guiding the player's eye, right? This one was just a cool little moment, which they can do because there's not really a lot going on here otherwise, right? It's fairly linear. You've already kind of picked up where you need to go. So having this is just cinematic. Notice how this is here oddly bright, right? It's oddly lit compared to this, which helps definitely sort of insinuating there being this ramp. And of course, this stuff going on here as well. It's very careful composition they're doing here with the landscape, and I like that. I'm a big fan of setting this up. It's fun. Same thing here, by the way, with the cover placement, right? It's basically, there's no other way around it. So it's like really friendly towards the player to get into this cover, but it's also a bit of a blocker, right? It's basically telling the player, stop, cover up here and shoot, right? If there was a gap in between that you could walk through, the chances are that the player might just run past it and then find themselves in the firefight way too close to the enemies or way too late. And then already you get hit and shot and you die like I did. Have fun, Sunquad. Thank you again for dropping by. And enjoy. Alright, this is the part where I almost died miserably. But I get to reinforce my knowledge, right, in terms of, you know, like what I've learned for how to combat enemies, seeking cover, reloading, shooting, all of that stuff in a more free-form environment. While at the same time, the game is still taking care of me. It's still making sure I can't fuck it up, right, by providing this very, very, like, almost impossible to pass, you see, like here even, cover pieces, right? So the only way for me to progress is to literally do what the game wants me to do at this point, which helps me understand the mechanics without being too obvious, right? Like if I played this and I wasn't a game designer who does these things, chances are I wouldn't feel this sort of level of careful guidance and pushing into the right direction, right? Which is, again, the beauty of good design. See, and you know, you could argue also, how is it done then that now that we have the gap, the player doesn't sprint forward and just jump into the arena and get shot? Easy, because we have a higher vantage point here, right? And that's something that, to me, when I play a shooter, third-person shooter, it's always attractive, right? It's always nice to be able to have the high ground and shoot down onto enemies. And players will rarely give that position up if you don't force them. All right, and we've talked about that in the last stream. or at least in the one before that, I think with Mass Effect 1, you know, where it might be a good idea to try to smoke players out to keep them moving in cover, right? So they can find the one spot that they are perfectly safe and they can just hang out, and it's basically the ultimate solution to the entire encounter, right? Because that's not so engaging. Kind of fun to provide a bit of a challenge to the player. Xenon Shepard, the hero, not the hero we need, but the one we deserve.
Normandy, this is Anderson. Do you read? Lie at best be. We've got
Again, subtle kind of way, like here they're using the cinematic to guide the player into looking at the right direction. See, bam, you look at that, and it sets up the fight with the arena, right? Where the cover is already, like even in this cutscene, you can already start strategizing, right? With the cover here, it's very sort of clear arena layout with a path in the middle, cover left to right. And you can already start thinking about this right here in this moment, thanks to how the cutscene sets this up. And I think that's great, because it allows this moment to be a bit more hectic without becoming unfair. And honestly, you know, if you think about it, I actually got out paint here earlier because I anticipated a moment like this. What was my point? Right, so honestly, the arena design here helps a bit to make this a bit more of an intuitive combat, right? The problem is this. This combat, this arena is, or this piece of encounter or combat is not one where we expect the player to move forward and gain new ground, right? Which is untypical. Oftentimes in games or in these kind of shooters, you're used to this, right? You shoot enemies, you move forward, you shoot enemies, you move forward, right? In a way, the combat becomes this sort of almost like a puzzle of you gaining control over more and more territory, right? You become a conqueror of space. How does the arena shape and the layout make it so that I don't follow this kind of principle? And I feel like I might have at the beginning. No. Or do I? No. Yeah, so how does this happen, right? So it might be more helpful to look at it first from this perspective before I switch into the 2D drawing of this. But you see here, like how the enemies actually have like a really high distance between our territory and their territory, right? Basically everything on this side, that's hostile territory. Whereas all of the stuff on this area, I actually should use green, that's our territory, right? As sort of defined by the cover here. So far, I hope you can follow, right? So, it is hostile and friendly. Now, what happens to the area in between? That is what we would refer to no man's land, right? It's basically the dangerous spot that we can't move into yet because it's the combat hot zone, right? And if you look at it, there's this piece, this is the single piece of cover in no man's land, right? And it's more on the side of the enemy's territory than it is on our side, right? So as a player, I would need to actually gauge quite a big distance to feel safe again, right? I would need to move very, very closely, like very much into no man's land, very close to enemy territory, without being able to secure it entirely. And that is sort of what keeps the player wanting to be in a safe spot, right? Because, and try to think about it and be honest with yourself, probably how you would play this if this was a situation where you try to conquer ground is you try to stay in our territory, in your territory, for as long as you can until you have eliminated all the enemies here, right, or most of them, before then moving forward, taking their ground, and then taking the combat forward, right? So if we look at this then quickly from a top-down 2D design, see, I've learned. We're not doing this over the game stuff. I've just opened Paint. Right? Let's assume this is the, oh, maybe not. This is not actually, all right, yeah, let's do this. So this is the arena, right? And we as Xenon Shepherd, we're kind of here, right? Whereas our enemies, they're on the other side. Simple enough, right? I mean, this is not rocket science at this point. But we have cover here. They have lots of cover, right? Our cover is somewhat limited, I think. We have like a bit on the left, a bit on the right, and a huge gap. And then there's another piece of cover here. And you can see just by how this is balanced already, in terms of, you know, where the weight is, that it is actually an attack for us on this, puts the player into a very disadvantageous position. The enemy has more cover, right? It's harder to hit. There's the only cover that we would have moving up to the enemy is actually really exposed. It's not like a really good cover piece. There's gaps in it. And it's very far on the enemy side, right? And our cover and our position is actually relatively exposed. So really what I want to do as a player, I'll try to stick to the few safe areas which I have, which are here, right? And I suppose to a lesser extent it would be this. But again, the danger, the risk of getting there by way of the layout here is too high for most players. No, oh, you're right. Actually, can I... Oh, lol, 3K, what have you done? Okay. But you get my point, right? So, and this is how sort of the level design here kind of keeps the player in check and prevents me from moving forward when otherwise in any other scenario that might be the intuitive thing to do. But since we in the game here are being asked to hunker down, right, not move, wait for extraction, we're not supposed to move forward. It would actually probably get us killed because that's not the scenario the gameplay designers wanted here. So the level design actually follows suit and deploys some techniques in its layout that help this scenario along. Mythos, thank you for joining today. I hope you have a good night, and I'm hoping to see you next time again. Yeah. So I hope this was an interesting bit of information, right? In regards to the cover design. And notice how even when you are in cover, it's not entirely 100% safe. So how would I then feel even about moving to this sad piece of cover over here? It is actually not even real 100% cover, right? Which further just emphasizes the idea of me sticking back, you know, and trying not to die, which ultimately I fail at. I would cut the head, it stays above cover. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. It's almost odd then how, you know, if I think about it, this section here to the left, right, looks more like a path than it needs to. I'm wondering if it might not have been even more helpful, right, to just make all of this look kind of like this stuff, so it just looks less of a path. I mean, clearly it worked for me, right? I had other problems in this, but it's just sort of like these tiny little tweaks you could do. Because this might actually be inviting to you, right? Or at least you may think about it. But maybe that's the point. Maybe it's there to kind of mask what's going on here. I don't know. I actually use this to pour water into my trusty Linkin Park mug. cup, rather. You know what's kind of nice in this arena design also is that they're, for the most part, using this sort of bright backdrop here, which makes the dark enemy silhouette pop out a bit more so I can more easily see the targets and shoot them. Notice this, how the dude here actually moves by, right? Like, because of, like, notice how he actually, let's use purple for once. Like, he vanishes here. He's almost invisible, right? But he's visible at the top where his silhouette, the dark color, contrasts with the bright background. Kind of cool little thing. You have my eternal respect for knowing Seto. Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! I know this shit as well. What do you mean? Oh, that was... Yeah, I'd die. I'd die in this bit. Alright, let's maybe not watch me die and just let's watch me succeed, because I'm amazing in these video games. Video games is what I do. I literally do video games for a living. Wow, this couldn't have been more unfortunate in its timing, right? Oh, 0 deaths, yeah. But here, this is where I enter focus mode. Look at how concentrated I am. So concentrated that I feel now it's worthwhile skipping all of this. You know what I suppose also helps is that these enemies are clearly scripted to never actually cross this line. Okay. You know what is fascinating is that I hope it's not a bad thing for you guys, but we didn't really look at a lot of stuff happening here, right? I mean, we literally just played the first combat, which is not much, but it was fun because there's a lot to extract here. Having said that, I don't think we'll be able to actually fully experience the next section and analyze this. Not only because I don't know what happens next, I don't recall, which gives us time to do a bit of that reverse engineering that we were talking about earlier, right? And replay this, speedrun it a bit, and try to pick it apart a bit and see how it works under the hood, so to speak. What do you say about that? Let's return to Xenon. And I suppose there might be a quick save that I would then boot up. Let's see. This, I need to bring back the audio, which I presume would be much louder now that we have tweaked all of this. So I'll need to bring this down a bit. And possibly also this. So I don't want to have your ears be fried. Did you know you don't have to fight anyone here? You can just stay in cover and spend your ammo. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. These guys, as I said, they're not moving forward, right? They will. It's like a fake threat. Okay. Let's do this. Load. Can you all see? Can you all hear? Good. Are we ready? Crap, we need to play it from the beginning. All right, let's do that. Let's do it in the interest of science. Main menu. Yes. Oh, that means we have another name. Can I? Oh, no. New game. We'll go female now. Let's go action. Whatever. You cannot make changes to character after this point? What? Crazy. Oh, Xelis, thank you for following. That's very nice. Thank you. All right, Bioware production. Yeah. We've already seen this. We're here to figure out how things work. In the name of science, I press plus. I don't know what you're referring to.
We just lost contact with 2 of our deep space outposts.
Oh, I can't skip it.
Something
It's
massive on
unskippable.
long-range scanners.
Unskippable
Is this what
cutscene.
Shepard warned us about?
I'd stake my life on it.
How long do we have?
Not long. I sent word. The fleet's immobilizing.
Well,
God help us all.
I will do this at the end of the stream again. But since we have a bit of a moment, since I can't skip this, I hope you have seen my tweet about Friday. We will have a special charity event from CD Projekt Red for Pride Month. I almost said day, which is obviously not the case. And for that we, meaning I and plenty of other developers and fellow colleagues of mine, will be doing different live streams on Friday. And I think we'll have a lot of fun doing that. And yeah, like I'll be actually streaming Cyberpunk at the end of the day. I think Friday at 8 is my time slot. And then we'll just play Cyberpunk. We'll see what we talk about. Level design, quest design, whatever. We'll do it.
Commander.
And I will say I have a bit it's not on the schedule, but between you and me, just because we're here, I have a bit of a special guest planned, invited to that, which I think will yield for a really, really cool segment. And no, it's not Miko. Miko might drop by. I don't know. But I hope it will be a great surprise to you guys. It's someone who we haven't seen publicly before, I think. I'm not sure. But the guest will be really cool. It will be really awesome. And we'll be playing Cyberpunk again. Something I haven't done, you know. So, yeah. I hope you drop by. It's Friday the entire day, pretty much. I don't know when we start. I don't remember. My slot is at 8 in the evening. Right in the start of the weekend. I recommend getting some cold drinks. So we all can have a great time. It's for a good cause even. So literally by watching you're doing something good.
You know what they're capable of.
That way they grounded me, took away my ship.
You know that's not true.
Sells.
The shit you've done.
It's Todd Howard. He's going to sell us Skyrim. Oh my god! How did you know?
It's your knowledge of the Reapers that
Which device? My fridge still can't play it though. I have like an NZXT water cooler here with a little display. I want to be able to play Skyrim on that.
need you to do whatever the hell it takes to help us stop the Reapers.
All right. Sorry, Amra. I don't know what happened there, but I'm hoping it's being remedied. Thank you for the mods for stepping in.
The moon.
Sir, UK headquarters has a visual.
Yes, I need to. Come on, we have shit to look at. Mirosi, thanks, and have a good one. Have a good night. Nah, I think it will be kind of sort of like how Sasko and I did it. A good mixture of both. A mixture of entertainment, insight into how we made the game, you know, and just good fun, I hope.
What do we do?
The only thing we can. We fight or we die.
Come on, I have some stuff to figure out here.
Oh my god.
Well, this is still cool the second time round. Is it too loud now? I feel like it's louder, at least from my end.
Shepard.
Cool. Okay.
Come on, get up. Here, take this. We've got to get moving. This is Admiral Anderson. Report in, anyone. Major Alanko, is that you? What's your status?
I also really appreciate the voice acting in this. You know, like Anderson is doing such a good job.
Anderson up.
Alright, here we are.
Master.
Remember what we talked about triggers the other day? Let's actually do a save here.
They'll pick us up if we can get to the space.
Can I take over? No, he's faster than I am.
How do you stop something so powerful? Take a running jump. It's farther than it looks.
It's farther than it looks. Well, I can do this. Can I overtake you?
Let's go.
Holy shit. I almost fell. Oh. Alright, we have all of this. Ah, nice little climb up thing. Yeah, why does my weapon not have any... How much ammo do I have? Oh, I don't get to see this. Oh, I get to reload. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Wait. Really? I actually don't have too little ammo. The game takes my ammo away. Oh, what?
Major, you read me. I'm patching in.
Nice. Subtle trick. Okay, I didn't notice that when I was playing it. I see. But see, it's interesting because it's in the interest of making the tutorial happen, right? And this whole section with the melee stuff wouldn't work if we did have too much ammo, right? So, I guess. At least they were courteous enough to not take all of the ammo away immediately, but let me have 2 or 3 shots or something, right? So I run out and then... Ah. Alright, I'm not gonna shoot these guys.
You haven't forgot how to shoot, have you?
Alright, at least there's a little reaction for it. Wait, do they just infinitely spawn? Till I have used it?
Shoot him! You haven't forgot how to shoot, have you?
See, isn't all of that so very interesting, right? Like, especially having this comparison of how we've played it and how it felt like then. But now seeing sort of all of this magic, you know, like fall apart. But it's sort of like learning a magic trick, right? You see how the illusion is actually done. It's actually crazy how well it worked. Like, for me, this was fine. But then looking at, oh, eventually it just progresses even. So it's not entirely infinite. It's good, right? That's not bad. Like, you know, it would have been weird. Like, I get that they want me to shoot and learn this. I like that they're giving me so many opportunities. But I like even more that it is literally not infinite, even though it felt like that. The game will just progress and go like, alright, fuck you. Otherwise, it's becoming ridiculous. Let's just move on. Cool. Where the fuck did he actually go? Ah, he's climbing there. Okay. Interesting. There they are. How is it that we missed? Ah, because we looked at this. So there's no... So it's just timed. No big magic. It's just a trigger. We drop down and then the game kind of just decides, hey.
I'm patching in Shepard.
Bangentner, thank you for dropping by. See you on Friday then. And again, thank you so much for coming by and spending your time with us. Okay, one more thing to test here. I wish you have a good night, by the way. If I shoot these guys on the first round.
I'm out of ammo. Come on, we gotta move.
then it progresses the whole thing. Right. Okay. I see. Alright, so that is like the way this is kind of scripted is to sort of, it's waiting for me to either kill the guys, right? If I'm not doing that, it respawns them a couple of times, or until a certain amount of waves has passed or time has passed or whatever, then it will also progress the quest sort of. When I, yeah, so there's two ways for this to happen. Okay, and here it happened 1, 2, instantly pretty much as soon as I land here. How did that not happen when I initially dropped down? I want to check with you the recording because I'm fairly sure this is not how it happened to us, no? Because we climbed down this and these guys didn't immediately, like now it should have already spawned them. Did we just barely miss it? I think so. 1, 2, 3. No, there should have been. Weird. I'm not sure what happened here. Maybe it's just coincidental timing here. Maybe they did do their thing, but yeah, I feel like I might have missed it, but the timing still feels a bit off. Like it feels like I should have seen them spawn here. Which I haven't. Even here you can see that they're not visible in the corner. Alright, I suppose. Probably this is in the territory of over-interpreting it. Although I guess we can take another last look. Yeah. Maybe it was just a random little glitch.
I'm patching in Shepard.
Okay, last thing. What happens if I don't kill them and just go down the ladder? Ah, motherfucker! Anderson, no!
You haven't forgot how to shoot. I'm out of ammo. Come on, we gotta move.
Oh, I didn't see those guys. Huh, I never noticed them earlier. Yeah, so I probably just missed them.
Have to take these things out the old-fashioned way.
My suspicion right now, I'm sorry, this is I'm going through this again. Probably should have saved before. I'm just trying to figure out the moment where I lose my ammo.
I'm out of ammo. Come on, we gotta move.
Wasn't it 4? Okay, they will definitely not agony. Okay, so I lose my ammo the second I kill the first dude. Which is a nice way to sort of make it not feel so obvious and bad, right? So literally, 1, 2, no ammo. Oh, it's an interesting way to kind of force the melee tutorial again. And then
Don't let him grab you.
I want to see how the camera moves if I kill him from all the way over here. Oh, it does like a really wide pan. But it always goes from here. Interesting. So it doesn't just from here go over there, but it actually moves the entire direction that it did. Ah. Works for me.
What?
Was there something else? Let me check my notes real quick. Melee tutorial. The first kill in game defines. Oh yeah, melee tutorial husk. What would happen if I killed this guy farther away from the door? We saw that the camera actually adapts to it, which is kind of cool. What would happen if I let the first husk climb up the thing? Well, we found that out. Watching the melee tutorial husk spawn. We did that. Are you? Like, you mean the ladder up there you cannot... I mean, yeah, but the game generally doesn't let you jump down these kind of distances, so it doesn't surprise me. You know, you actually look like you would fit through that.
Through this way.
Frickin' Shepard, such a badass. Yes, it's the kid.
In here.
It's gone. Indoctrination.
Grab some ammo.
All right, I don't think. Yeah, I
Reload,
suppose.
let's keep
I
moving.
suppose we dissected this
Come on,
well
it hasn't been that long
enough.
since you've handled the weapon.
Can you please calm it? Little fall damage would hurt. Yeah, but you know, good thing to end, I think. Oops, sorry. Let me go into... Oh, I exited entirely. I honestly just wanted to... I'll just do it. I'll start the game. So we have a bit of a background music going on here. So, you know, Nojakas, think a second for what you're suggesting there, right? Right now they have opted for a solution that doesn't allow the player to drop down these high ledges to begin with. Now, it might sound easy to say, hey, but why not just let the player drop down that and just receive a bit of fall damage? That's okay, right? Like, reasonable enough. But imagine what that would have in terms of like the snowball effect of other issues that might cause. Because if the player now suddenly is able to drop down all of these ledges, right? You would suddenly need to secure a lot of quest scenarios. I'm saying quest, mission scenarios, whatever, right? In many, many other places where the player might just be able to jump down freely, causing glitches, bypassing triggers, and just either dying. You know, you saw how I almost fell into the void, but the invisible wall prevented me from doing that. All of these kind of things, right? And while these may all not be issues that you couldn't fix, you know, it would still take time to fix these kind of things, right? And depending on the change you do here, it would require a lot of time actually to fix all of these things. So it can really blow up the debugging time that might be required, even a small, seemingly small change like that, right? And then you always need to consider, isn't that time maybe spent better otherwise, right? There's certainly something where the people that would kind of fix these bugs might better invest their time into something that would add, you know, more to the overall game. I'm certain that's something that you know, that you find reasonable. They improved greatly compared to Mass Effect 1. I wonder if they switched to different game engine. I don't think so. I'm not sure, honestly. It does feel like it might just be an iteration of the existing toolsets. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's actually kind of hard to tell. you know, especially also nowadays, right? Like you always kind of feel like, yeah, well, the Unreal has like a certain look and Unity has a certain look. But then you kind of look at the vast variety of different games that are now coming from these engines, from like 2D side scrolls all the way to insane AAA games. And suddenly it does become a bit harder to guess a style, right? As you saw, we kind of are slowly bringing it down. So this is the time for you to ask questions. I will try to summarize a bit what we've seen today. Let me think about this. So I think it's clear that like the game, like especially compared to Mass Effect 1, right? The game's designers, maybe it's different designers from, like, who knows, like staff changes all the time, right? But that the studio working on these games has learned a lot. And there is a clear improvement, not only in terms of player guidance from the first to the second, but also in the utilization of all these different kind of tools that a designer has in their arsenal, to use them all together, and, you know, by doing that, elevate the entire game to another level, no pun intended, right? It's not just the individual player guidance tools they're using, but the way they're using them together with other tools that help make the experience of going through the level a more narrative and immersive one. And I think once you get to a level where you're able to bring these tools together and you know, the whole thing becomes greater than the sum of its parts, that I think you've managed to do something wonderful and truly great. And I think it's fascinating to have witnessed this process across 3 games, right? And honestly, I didn't think that the jump in quality between 2 and 3 would be so great, but and it probably isn't so much in terms of player guidance and the way the arenas are laid out and all that stuff, but again, in terms of narrative depth and the level design contributing to that, right? And the encounter design contributing to the experience, I think it feels, at least from this early section, and mind you, I'm not claiming that this is necessary for the entire game, because you would need to probably play all 3 games to compare that in a fair way. But just from what we've seen now, what we've glimpsed, I feel that is where Mass Effect 3 improves even over Mass Effect 2, which is already a substantial step up from Mass Effect 1. And it's kind of cool to see what conclusions were kind of drawn by the designers, seemingly, right? And where more stress was kind of put, and how they actually did manage to make it better from 1 to 2 to 3. So that's super cool. Okay, I will try to understand what you just said. Thanks for your opinion about my stupid criticism. No, that was perfectly fine. Again, like, you know, it is a perfectly valid thing to ask, right? It's a perfectly valid thing to wonder about, right? But as with many things in games, usually when you point out an issue, it is something that the designers, not always, but oftentimes, have already thought about a ton of times, spent a lot of headaches on trying to solve, and probably the sad reality is that with many features in games you might have played where you think it could have been done better or should have been done differently, the solution they picked is probably the best one for a variety of different reasons, right? That from the context of developers made the most sense. As you've been seeing, I think, and as I keep stressing, games are difficult to make. There's so much stuff that can go wrong, so much decisions that you need to make and ideas that you can incorporate to create like a whole awesome game, right? Like literally any game that releases, if it's a small indie game, mobile game, or like a huge AAA game, it's a miracle, right? Because so many things can go wrong, and so many things need to go right in order to get to a stage where it ships. And I'm hoping that, you know, and so for that reason, it's perfectly fine to ask these questions, right? Because it's sort of part of what this channel is about, to ask these kind of questions and to kind of get insight into the whys and whys nots, and you know, generally how games are made. And, you know, you don't need to feel ashamed about having asked a question or something, right? There are no stupid questions. Because ultimately it helped us all understand. And I think that's great. That's what it's all about. Literally, Toastbot wrote this. You know, like, I will actually copy this, Nojakas, just so I hope you feel a bit better. This is literally the quote that is driving this channel, right? So don't feel bad about it. It's all perfectly great. All 3 games are on Unreal. They just use better tools. Yeah, okay, Unreal 3. I see. While playing it, and you know, actually think about it, how cool it is to see all of these 3 games come from the same engine, even though they improved the tools and all that stuff. It really shows that while engines and tools are really important, you know, it isn't the. It is also how you use these tools, right? Yeah, that determines how good your game will be. Because I see a lot of people just kind of going, yeah, you know, if they use the better engine, Bethesda is often mentioned in this kind of guy, the game will be better, right? Like, their game is bad because they're using a bad engine. That can be right, but it's not necessarily so. There's many more factors than just the engine. Likewise, there's games using great engines or seemingly amazing engines that, you know, turn out to be not so well done or have suffered because of the engine they were using. Because I see the word Frostbite being thrown in here, right? And I think it's been sort of heard that Frostbite might have not been, you know, really supportive of the kind of RPG games that they wanted to do with it. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that's what you hear through the grapevines, right? And I mean, it's easy to understand that if you think that the engine was primarily made to support shooters, right? First-person shooters, non-RPGs at that, which is very different, right? So an engine like that doesn't need the ability to remember so many things, for example, as an RPG with choices, consequences, different game states, and all that might have, and all of these other things. Many, many more things. While playing Cyberpunk, I was surprised by the amount of freedom I had with a double jump to climb up. Yeah, you know, and having the double jump in there in a game like Cyberpunk is a difficult choice. And even now you can see a lot of, like, it can result in some hilarious situations. But ultimately the benefit we get in this situation is great. But we also had to spend a lot of time to make sure that, you know, having double jump isn't actually a detriment where it mostly ends up breaking your experience because you get stuck in places you can't, right? So, but that was a choice we made, and I think the benefit paid off, right? But it's definitely something that took us time to implement well. And even then it didn't turn out perfect yet, right? Because with a city as big as Night City and as complex, it's just difficult to do this kind of stuff. But I think ultimately it ended up at a spot where double jump is very well worth it and fun. It's fun. That's what was important. Yeah, because so many of the rooftops, but that double jump is so fun with reversal you can do. Yeah, you have experience with these kind of places. It's just a shame they had to use Frostbite. Learn how to operate camera and improve toolkit incrementally and how to use the tools in the right way. Yeah, certainly the tools probably also improved, right? Just because they use the same engine doesn't mean that they literally use the same tech. Code can be improved and evolve. Yeah, I like their games. I haven't played Andromeda yet, but that's mostly because there are so many games that I just didn't come around. So, you know, people say a lot of bad things about it, but I'm sure, and I think that's also the point of this, and maybe that's why we should play this at some point, though maybe not as the next game. I think even that game probably has some really cool moments and redeeming qualities, right? So it might be fun to expose those. I do not know who won the sticker. I don't know, actually. I love the sticker though. It's a cool sticker. Fun fact, by the way. So these stickers actually started out as, you know, like really shitty sticker maker, like a phone app stickers that my colleague Fabian did of me and my other colleagues, right? Like he'd just take unfortunate photos of us and just crop out the face and use these as stickers in WhatsApp. And, you know, it was then later that Crazy Kitty, actually, one of my moderators, took these and actually made them into stickers, cartoon stickers. It's a pretty funny little story. Xelis, first off, thank you. Yeah, welcome to the chat. I'm glad that you chose to write that. And yeah, you know, I actually really want to try it because I really like the universe. When I was playing Mass Effect 1 or replaying this, you know, I realized that one of the big strengths and one thing I really liked about it, it was the ability for me to get lost in all of the world building, right? Like like all of these crazy aliens, the Elcor. Fuck, I forgot what the jelly aliens are called. The one that are talking about the Enkindler and all of that. And it's just so cool, right? The Krogan. The Hanar. Yeah, Hanar. The Hanar. I think that's how that's pronounced. Yeah. Yeah, I expect. So this mobility is great, but it always comes with a lot of, you know, lot of work, right? Because the more mobility you have, the more you need to be careful that the player doesn't accidentally break the game. And if you think about high mobility and high speed, it also increases the space that you need in order for it to feel really good. One extreme example I like to bring up with that is, for example, Titanfall 2 specifically, right? Which is a game about high mobility, about wall running and all of this insane stuff, and it feels really good. But think about how large their levels actually are, the distances that you bridge as you play one Titanfall 2 level, right? And imagine what that would mean for a game like, you know, like Cyberpunk. You'd basically, I think, easily like stretch the entire distance of Night City in one level of, you know, of Titanfall 2, just double jumping, or wall running and all of that. It's pretty insane, the difference in scale and scope of one level. Right? Think of something like in Cyberpunk, the size of the meat factory compared to the size of Titanfall 2 level. And all that space is needed, of course, because of the player's high level of mobility. Are you a bit tired of long projects like, oh, poster check, last one for today, I suppose. I expect, thank you for taking care. Yeah, man, I did slump down a bit. It's so easy to do that. Are you a bit tired of long project like Cyberpunk 2077? Seems a bit long time to work on a single project, and Gwent doesn't have too much on them. Huh. I never really thought about it. I just really like working in a kick-ass team on cool projects and trying to push limits. I think that's something that's the most appealing for me with the work that I do at the studio that I work at is, you know, you could make much less complex and much simpler games, and it might be easier, right? Or you could try to push creative boundaries, push tech and all of that stuff, and be allowed to try to push these kind of things, right? And I find that a much more fulfilling creative challenge that gives me a lot of joy in my life. And so for me, I think what we do is just the right thing. I enjoy creatively challenging myself, working with a team of like-minded people to create something truly awesome. And yeah, I'm hoping that there will be a time with, you know, like the games we've made, like much like with Witcher, where people will be able to look past that and kind of see, for, you know, example, Cyberpunk, for the cool things that we actually managed to do with that, right? But I realize that for that we're still, you know, we're still on it. We know that we need to deliver something, and we are. Yeah, it's oddly emotional to talk about this kind of stuff with the music in the background. It feels like I'm doing some epic speech when really I'm just rambling into a camera. Any private sandbox indie games to do something different? Yeah. Yeah, I have some personal projects. And I suppose part of that is also, you know, this stream. In its way, right? It's a different way to talk about the stuff that I like to talk about and do, which is making games. But it's of course different than how I would do it when I do it with my colleagues when we're actually making stuff. And again, yeah, it gives me a lot of joy, and I hope you also find it not only useful, but also interesting and, most importantly, fun. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for these kind words. Final back straightener. Remember that. I can actually say that again. Hey, you guys did a great job inside. I had issues, but some people see beyond that. Yeah, thank you so much. I just hope you guys don't give up on... No, we won't. I think that's something that, you know, historically even, CDPR has been kind of known for, right? The sort of post-launch support that we give to our games, and why would it be any different now? My main concern is I can't talk about any details, of course, of upcoming stuff. We'll talk about it when the time is there. I kind of joke about it, like, people want more information. I understand that, but when we, like, how well has sort of estimating release dates and everything been going for us in the past? So I don't... it's a really funny situation in a way. Siren was one of my best gaming experiences. Man, that's so awesome to hear that. Thank you so much. I think that's a great note to end it. Sort of move the Q&A a bit longer because we started it a bit late, I think. So one last reminder, right? Friday, we're doing the whole charity thing. So if you can't wait until next week, Wednesday, when we'll do another stream to see me, or if you just want to do something good, right? Maybe donate a little money for a good cause, or just hang out, have a great time, see developers play their games. You know, we're not only play Cyberpunk, others I've seen they'll play other games. I'm not sure if their schedule reveals it. I don't want to take away any surprises, right? So please come hang out. It will be on the CD Projekt Red Twitch, right? And I hope we'll all have a great time and do something good. And again, I might have a small, like, surprise guest joining me on my stream at 8, I think. Yeah, it's at 8. I'm sure the exact schedule will be posted. Anyway, I would love for you guys to drop by. We'll have a great time, and we'll probably play some stuff that I've worked on. So that's something I'm looking forward to as well. Yeah, so until then, you know, if you're not dropping by, I hope I get to see you next week. Thank you so much, as always, for coming by, spending your valuable time with me, right? I know 3 hours is a lot of time, and I'm so happy that you actually decide to spend it that way when you could be watching Netflix or whatever, right? I'm sorry, research. Oh, God. Thank you still for taking time to drop by. I know. Oh, I really appreciate the effort. Lots of love, man. Watch the VOD again, and if not, I'll be here next week. We'll do this again. I'm not sure which game we'll play. It's new game time. Figure it out. If you want to suggest something, drop by my DMs on Twitter. They're open. And yeah, stay healthy, stay safe, have a great week and weekend, and thanks so much. Lots of love. Take care, guys. See ya.